You guys are live.
We are live.
We live.
How's it going out there?
Live.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the most exciting podcast in all of the universe. This is the Magical Butter Radio Show.
It's the Magical Butter Radio Show, presented by MagicalButter.com.
I love your radio host voice.
The radio host voice.
It's
yeah, it's
great.
just like classic production.
Here,
like,
let's both give it our best effort here. You start it off, all right?
introducing the nation's #1 cannabis radio show and podcast, the Magical Butter Radio Show.
Nice one, nice one. All right, here I go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the show. My boy Rob threw me off on that one. he gave me that look.
Blame it on Rob.
He gave me that look of just like disdain there.
I feel like Rob just got thrown under the bus back behind the scenes there.
Well, I needed an out, all right?
There had to be an out on that one.
I appreciate that,
It was
guys.
a tough act to follow. I'm sorry.
Very tough.
I'm
I gotta
sorry.
tell you, my boy Dirty D has the skills and abilities, multiple talents here, especially when it comes to the little audio tidbits, right?
Yeah. It's like, I feel like that's part of being old school production.
Uh-huh.
You know, doing
Weren't
the
you
radio
a,
announcer voice and all that jazz.
I think you were a DJ once at a strip club, right?
Calling to the main stage, Crystal Rhymes.
Just kidding. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's a beautiful Tuesday afternoon. We're live here in the Magical Butter Studios, as always, bringing you the freshest and cannabis cuisine. We're giving listeners an inside look at what MagicalButter.com is up to. And I gotta tell you, it is an exciting time we are in, isn't it?
It has been wild, right? I feel like this weekend was just Memorial Day. And like, as a company, usually we don't get holidays like that off.
Never.
Like last year, I think we had one day off for Thanksgiving, type of deal. So that we had a Memorial Day off on Monday, and I was like, wow, we're starting to get somewhere. Like, we're getting days off work now.
So let's
Corporate
talk about Memorial Day a little bit. Thank you so much to all the veterans. That's what it's really about. It's not about getting work off, but it is nice that we get to all come together on Memorial Day, enjoy each other's company.
Yeah, there's all kinds of great events going on around town. Yeah, like family barbecues. Like, it's a great day to call the veterans in your life and thank them, and then, you know, remember the ones that aren't with us any longer and all that jazz. But it was a beautiful Memorial Day. It rained down here. You were up in Canada.
I was up in Canada.
We had an early tropical depression.
I heard.
that
I was kind
floated
of
by.
charting the storm a little bit from my phone up there, but how'd you do? You
Yeah, I mean, it was
survived?
fine. Yeah, I mean, I'm born and raised here. Like,
ain't worried about
you
no
better
storm?
send something stronger. But it rained for like 2 days, which kind of puts a damper on what you're doing Memorial Day.
On the
It's like,
outdoor
Yeah.
activities.
Saturday was like, oh, let's go swimming and blah blah blah, and it's like, oh, it's gonna be raining by the time we go and swimming. Like, so, you know, little rainy Memorial Day. I enjoyed it inside. I binge watched a lot of reality television.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good time. Sometimes when you're stuck in the rain, it gives you a chance to relax or, you know, read, watch some television.
Just something about, like, you can see the window there, and then you can see that it's just kind of dark and gloomy outside. It's like, I just want to stretch back.
I'll tell you what it does for me when it rains, it gives me peace of mind that it's okay. Like, because relaxation is important, but I know sometimes I'll get a guilty complex with myself. Like, if I'm relaxing on a beautiful day when it's nice outside, I'm like, man, I should be outside right now enjoying this beautiful day, not relaxing inside. But like, when it's raining outside, it's like, all right, it's okay for me to just relax.
Yeah,
There's nothing really better to do right now.
No, yeah, you won't get in trouble for like sleeping on a Saturday that's raining.
No
right?
shame in
Like,
hanging out when it's gloomy.
Yeah,
So-
playing video games and stuff. Like,
What kind of games do you play, Dawn?
I play Fortnite for about 15 minutes until I get frustrated with it.
Isn't it hard?
And then I play Grand Theft Auto,
It is very challenging.
the ultimate stress reliever. So.
Fortnite has been a challenge for all of us to pick up and get good at, but we got actually a pretty good local player, Dingy.
He's on tonight at 5.
5 o'clock, you guys, exclusively
our
on Twitch,
program.
Right?
Yeah, exclusively on Twitch, following the radio show. You'll be able to see Dingy kill it on Fortnite. He's the only person I've ever seen win in real life.
He got first place on one of our live streams.
On a live stream, he got first, and he continues to get first. It's always some kind of good fight at the end.
So shout out to Dingy. He'll be live from Magical Butter Twitch channel later this afternoon.
Everybody on Fortnite is building stuff.
It's all about forts.
Oh man, the building stuff is like the trickiest part. Like, how am I supposed to run around and shoot and be building stuff?
You got to get linked up on a decent team and let them be the builders and you be the killer.
Yeah,
you know?
okay.
But shout out my boy Clayton Brand. He's out there. Hippie Mob. He's an MC. He's been linking up with all these Fortnite players, and he'll stream and play with them live. He joins their team, but he consecutively just spits a rap the whole time, freestyling.
Here, what's his name? Let's look him up.
Let's see. You're gonna be able to find it on YouTube. His name's Clayton, but he hooked up with the boy Bucks on a live stream. Man, your thing is
yeah.
So let's do. It's called Bucks, and then it's like.
Hey Schatzberg, I'll tell you when to pull it up.
What's that other guy's name?
I feel like you showed it to us the other day.
Okay.
More Bucks? More Bucks is the channel on that one.
What's that guy's name that everyone likes? The rapper that was on Rick and Morty? The kid. Shats, you know who I'm talking about?
Logic.
Logic, yeah.
Look at that. Shats with the facts.
Here it is. Okay, so the name of the video is I Found the Next Logic on Fortnite. And it's actually my boy Clayton Brand. You can check him out on Instagram at Clayton Brand, B-R-A-N-N. But he's just killing it. Here, can you pull this up?
Yeah, he should have it up.
Can they hear it? Full screen. Can they hear it?
Yeah, they should be able to hear it.
You got gun for you. Gun for you.
Gun for everyone.
Gun for you.
So this is Bucks streaming live. He's got my boy Clayton spitting.
Honestly, we gonna come with the flow. My nigga Bucks, and where did you go? Oh, there you are. When we going hot up at the tar. I'm so golden, you would think I was a fucking golden star. We about to get him.
Just a little tidbit of that. But you see the deal there.
Well, it's like anything else. Like we have a cannabis podcast. Somebody could theoretically have a Fortnite-based podcast or on anything. You can
I'm sure there actually
base your
is.
podcast on anything. I guess ours isn't even necessarily.
It's a little bit of everything.
It's everything. Yeah,
it's life. We're just a lifestyle brand.
Good old life.
Could you hear the flow on there? Nice one. Shout out my boy Clayton Brand.
Boom.
We're gonna get you linked up with our boy Dingy, rapping on the Fortnite action. We're all about it. So, yeah, guys, if you don't know, we're now officially on the iTunes network, the Magical Butter Podcast. Look us up. You can type it in your search there on the podcast deal, Magical Butter Radio Show. And really cool. I got to catch a couple clips. I just wanted to hear it from a different platform. So I logged in on my podcast deal, and I was listening to it on the airplane. And they're really cool. Really cool to hear myself.
That's really awesome. Like that you're actually on an official iTunes podcast. Like you're going to the Apple Store, and you're downloading yourself talking.
Blowing it up. Amazing.
Wow.
It's amazing. Thank you guys so
times.
much. We're so fortunate to have this platform and be able to stream out to all of you. I just got off of a phone call actually from one of our customers. Shout out to my buddy. I just spoke to him.
Mama, yeah, Chris had me crying behind the scenes a few minutes ago.
Yeah, I didn't even mean to. I was just, talking to my boy Dirty D, telling him what just happened. But shout out my man Hank and also his wife, Mama Gail. They're both completely blind. And just had a great conversation with them both. They're big fans of the Magical Butter show. They catch all of our content. Mainly they catch it on YouTube after the fact, but they love it. And one thing that Hank was telling me that he really appreciated is when we're cooking in the kitchen with the chefs, we thoroughly describe the recipe and the steps that are involved. And if you can imagine being blind and just listening to a cooking show, it might be sort of challenging to grasp all the concepts that are happening when you're blind, and you're relying on just the words that people are saying. So Thank you so much, Hank, for calling in and making us mindful and conscious of the fact that people who are watching, they suffer all kinds of impairments, you know? We could even have deaf viewers, but we never even thought of the fact that we had blind people also tuning into the show just to listen to it and catch that information. So we really appreciate it.
And we try to paint a picture with our words. You know, as you're describing something like, it's sweet, it's savory, it's, you know, it smells herbaceous. You know, all those words that we start throwing out when we're cooking are, you know, things to help you visualize it in your head. Because there's some people, we see it in the comments all the time, people listening. And then their phones are there, of course, because they're listening, but some people are watching at work. You know, they're sitting on their computers getting their work done and also catching the radio show, which is what a lot of people end up doing.
Yeah, because I can relate with that. Sometimes I'll let a YouTube video play, you know, in my stereo in my vehicle, and I'm not necessarily watching it because I'm driving, but I'm listening, and I'm catching a lot of the same information.
Exactly, yeah.
So.
You can get things at a glance sometimes, just looking down, like anytime there's a visual reference, you know, glancing down, but that's kind of how movies and television work. Like.
It's cool, man, and the other challenge we have here is bridging the description of all these flavors and the smells that we're experiencing here live and trying to, you know, put words for them for you guys. Because it's truly hard to describe some of the most delicious stuff we've been able to taste.
Yeah, how do you describe something cheesy?
Yeah, so cheese is so complex.
Stringy, like string and stringy. And
there's so many types of cheese.
There's so many types of cheese. There's stanky cheese. There's... I like stanky cheese.
I like spicy cheese.
Spicy cheese? Like some...
like a pepper
Colby Jack, pepper jack. Yeah, that's pretty good.
3-pepper jalapeno
so you're
Gouda.
Getting towards stanky cheese. Stank is just like a flavor past heat. You know?
Right.
And there's not a lot of things you can eat that are stanky. Like cheese is one of the only stanky things that it's like, you know,
all about
permitted and allowable for you to consume.
You know all about stank, my man. I'll take it from you. So we're very appreciative to all of our viewers at home, all of our listeners. Thank you so much. It's an honor and a privilege to be here on the Magical Butter podcast. Amazing broadcast, and we've been able to reach and touch so many people.
Yeah, we appreciate everybody joining us every week, listening to us spout about the machine and cannabis and life and the world and everything. Like, we love sharing that with you guys, you know? We spend a lot of times behind the scenes chatting and sharing our ideas, and now we're bringing them to you, officially on the Magical Butter podcast.
It's really, really special, and I got to meet a really special guy out there named Richard. He's a nurse, all right, and he's been using, him and his girl are both nurses up in Canada, and he recognized me instantly at the show. One thing that I do at these trade shows, I wear bright color suits thanks to some style cues from my man Garen Angel. Shout out to him. He might actually be joining us a little bit later.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
But I was fresh dressed up in the suit, and I got to run into this nurse out there named Richard, and truly humbling experience. Thank you so much. He's been using the machine for several years. He's helping his patients and helping himself, actually, as a patient himself. But one thing that he was so excited about was running into me, and he's like, dude, you're practically a celebrity. I see you on all the videos on YouTube, and he's like gassing me up to the fullest, and I was so humbled by that. I'm like, no, stop. And we took pictures together, and I put them on our Facebook page, so shout out to Richard, man. Thank you so much.
So you're like an international superstar, because you were out of the country when you got recognized in this exact example. You were... You're where at now? You were up in
Toronto, Ontario.
Toronto.
Yeah.
Nice.
What a beautiful city Toronto is. If you've never had the chance to make it up there, do yourself a favor, go check it out. It's beautiful. A lot of exciting things happening up there with cannabis as well.
In Toronto, yeah. See, like, when I think of Canada and cannabis, it's media portrayal. All I can fall back on is the Trailer Park Boys and what I've learned. You know, that takes place in Canada and all that type of thing. And now it does touch somewhat on, like, the legal referendum and stuff like that. Like, it's not completely, you know, gag jokes. they do touch about how Canada is legalizing and was set to legalize and all that. They are fully legal, right? You were able to walk into a dispensary and purchase just right off the street.
Yeah, so they haven't fully done their legalization federally, but they're working on it. It's coming this summer, they say. But yeah, throughout each province, they get to manage their programs themselves. But in my opinion, just from being up there a short time, based on the conversations I had, the accessibility of cannabis, how accessible it is to the patients, I would say also the fact that Canada is able to export to international countries, you know, is just amazing. But I would say Canada's several years.
Does Canada do a lot of importing or a lot of exporting?
All export.
All export. Yeah. Okay, that's right. Because some of the big publicly traded companies do that.
Yeah, but I would say, Alex knows you so well.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
I would say Canada is light years ahead of the States here and U.S. with the conversations that are happening and the way that they support patients up there.
Even with the idea of exporting, like here in the United States, we can't even export between states. We can't even do national commerce, you know, across state lines with it. So the fact that Canada is shipping to other places in the world, where are some of the main people getting Canada's marijuana? Where does it end up?
Several places. I've heard that they are exporting to Israel, Switzerland, Germany, Uruguay. There's talks of Canada. I'm sure there's plenty of other countries that I'm missing there, but just the fact that they're, you know, what's crazy to me is the fact that these countries that they're shipping it to, every country has equal ability to grow a plant, right?
Well, yeah, you're saying they're exporting it from Germany, but Germany gets great, you know, pot from the Netherlands and stuff. So, like, they're bringing it all the way from Canada probably just because of the law and regulation.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I know that Canada also has a surplus of product, so that might be some of the reasoning there too. But yeah, shout out to Canada.
Yeah,
it was
good
beautiful.
For Canada, man.
One thing I learned up there, you know, especially since it was just Memorial Day, I think it's important we talk about this a little bit. I linked up with a veteran group up there, Spartan Wellness. Shout out to Spartan Wellness, Riyadh, CEO and founder, and you know, they're doing their part to educate and inform all the veterans up there. They're also doing their part to break the stigma, because just like veterans here in the States, veterans are very proud people. When they get done with their service, the last thing they want to do is become a stoner or become any kind of degenerate type of person. Right?
Yeah, somebody who relies on the country for life and that kind of thing.
Yeah, so cannabis is sometimes a very stigmatized option for them. Spartan Wellness is doing their part to shake that stigma and give these vets courage and confidence that when they use the plant as an option, it's okay. And one thing I thought that was so amazing is that Canada's government provides veterans with an allotted amount of money yearly to spend on cannabis-based equipment or devices. So mainly vaporizers, right? Yeah. But I just see an opportunity there. Magical Butter would like for all veterans to have access to the Magical Butter machine
and edibles aren't legal up there, you were saying, correct?
Exactly. So that's another reason Magical Butter has had great success and popularity up in Canada due to some of those laws.
Because you're allowed to grow your own, right?
And grow your own.
So in Canada, you can grow your own. Mm-hmm. Edibles aren't legal in dispensaries.
Nope.
What was the cost like from the dispensary? So what was your Canadian dispensary experience? So a U.S. citizen landed in Canada, you're going to the dispensary to buy some stuff. How does it all work?
Yeah, so pretty straightforward. I went on Weed Maps. Shout out to Weed Maps. You know, based on my geolocation, they gave me thousands of locations within the city that were within walking distance of my hotel.
Come on in, Alex.
Come on in, Al. How
we
you doing,
appreciate
pal?
that, bud.
Cool.
Coming in to refill our spirits.
Nice. Hot coffee for your boy Chris, and hot coffee for Dirty D. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate that. Thanks, Alex.
Give it up for Alex.
Shout out Alex.
Hot coffee.
The man, the myth, the legend.
So, definitely excellent times. Here, I got you a little coaster.
Oh, a coaster?
Tie-dye coaster, bud.
Isn't this classy?
So,
what is a coaster?
My dispensary experience was super chill. I looked it up on Weed Maps. I found a spot that was within walking distance and went in, presented them with my Florida ID. I'm older than 21, so no problems there. They welcomed me in. I was greeted by a bud tender. They had jars of flour.
So kind of like in the United States, they take your ID and they make a copy of it, write down some stuff.
Sign me up for their club.
Oh, okay.
But they didn't charge me, which I was surprised.
Okay, nice.
Because I've been to some cannabis clubs and they hit you with a $50 or $75 fee just to be a member of the club, right? So anyway, I'm sitting there, bud tender comes up, she hands me a book that lists out all the strains available, the percentages of THC, and also the prices. They had jars on the wall. I was able to freely smell.
Yeah, okay, so they had a book, but then you could also be like, hey, let me see the, Gorilla Glue number 4.
Right, right, so kind of cool.
Was there any strains out there that you're like, wow, this is a really nice Canadian Northern Lights or something like that?
Nothing that I can really think of offhand. I got some really nice shatter while I was there.
Nice, yeah.
Apple Jacks and Phyto Cannabis is the company. I got to run into them at the Lift Expo afterwards,
nice.
So that was
cool.
Yeah. But yeah, straightforward. One thing I can recommend, if you're coming to a Canadian dispensary from the States, make sure you've already done the currency exchange and you have Canada money, because you don't want to be in there spending US dollars. You'll end up overpaying a little bit.
Yeah, you were saying that they were doing dollar for dollar for U.S. cash.
Right, they'll gladly take
which
your
is
American money.
15 to 20%. I'd have to look up exactly what the difference is, but so they're they're taxed to exchange the money. I mean, when you go to a different country, you have to pay the exchange rate. So.
Yep. So that was one thing, but really cool, super chill experience. I was very happy. But yeah, speaking of all that, while I was up there, I also got to go to a really cool coffee shop. It's called Cannabis and Coffee, right there in downtown Toronto. As we sit here and drink our coffee.
Shout out to Alex.
Alex.
Nice fresh coffee.
Thank you, my friend. So Cannabis and Coffee is a great social environment for patients and people in general. Come in off the streets, enjoy a nice cup of brew. They have designer ice cream cones that they're dipping in chocolate and all kinds of gourmet, toppings and things. But it was really cool. I got to meet the owner there, and he's all gung-ho about this movement, and he's super supportive of Magical Butter.
Nice.
So
now, do they consume in the coffee shop, kind of like an Amsterdam coffee shop, where there's people consuming in the shop, or
not yet?
No, okay.
But the legalization is coming this summer, and they hope that that's going to change. In the meantime, they're going to be doing their part for patients and people from the public to just come on in from the streets and receive a hands-on education experience, teaching patients and people about the healthy benefits of herbs and also the different recipes you can create and how to integrate that into your daily life. So nice. It's pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, that is really cool. Canada's got some big stuff going on. I'm so glad you got to go. And
yeah, bro. I wish you were there with me.
That's just adding to your list of foreign countries, right? That's
another stamp in the book.
Yeah,
bud.
yeah. You're slaying it this year.
One thing that was super shocking that I found out is that there's a large population of U.S. citizens that are American veterans that are living up in Canada just for the reason to take advantage of their medical benefits that they get up there.
Yeah, that was something you brought up to me earlier. Like you said it like the best. The American troops and the Canadian troops are on the ground together.
They're together. They fight side by
absolutely are.
side.
Like the Allied forces, are still very much alive.
Right. They fight side by side. A lot of the same issues that they suffer from, U.S. citizens or the U.S. soldiers are suffering from too. But 60,000 American soldiers are currently living up in Canada to, receive the benefits from the medical programs up there.
Yeah, not only their cannabis medical program, but their medical program in general.
Is
beneficial.
Yeah, but mainly it's for the access of medical cannabis and the support that the government provides for the vets.
Because it's recognized, like you said, so each vet gets $300 per year that they're able to spend on smoking equipment.
Right, like a
whether
vaporizer.
that be your batteries, your vaporizers, your magical butter machines. That's really incredible because here in the United States, they debate whether it's allowed or not.
And currently it's not. I mean, they are fighting against that, and Dr. Sue Sicily's doing clinical trials with veterans now to prove that there are benefits to cannabis, and it does help with, all the different symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder. So, yeah, it's interesting stuff. But Magical Butter, we're here to do our part and make the product available and affordable, and at the very least, we're here to provide you guys with helpful information and keep that pumping out, keep the positivity going. So we're live right now. This is the Magical Butter Podcast. We're coming to you guys on the iTunes network, also on Twitch, streaming out. We're here on Facebook, YouTube, on our website.
On our website, yeah, you can watch
there.
us live on our website where you can take advantage of the various bundles and deals that are going on right now. On our Facebook page, I see the couple hundred people hanging out, having a nice time, but very cool.
Nothing but love out there, guys.
It's the Magical Butter Podcast.
Nothing but love. It's a good time.
Hope everybody's having a great day today. It's Tuesday. I hope everybody got to enjoy their days off yesterday and throughout the weekend. I really love having a weekend off. We're still at that age where, you got friends that work all kinds of different hours, like some people are just like completely different random schedules every week, We're on and then off, we got two, Saturday and Sunday off usually, so adding that Monday in there was just sweet. It felt like the weekend was twice as long.
Yeah, 3-day weekends are great indeed. I was traveling yesterday for Memorial Day, but it was still a nice little relaxing day, you know, nothing too stressful.
Yeah, you were back in town, 3 o'clock or so?
Actually, about 9 p.m.
About 9 p.m. Wow, so you traveled till last night.
Yeah, I flew out of there around 4 o'clock.
I always give you props for those, because planning out the week, it's like, all right, is Chris gonna be in Tuesday for the radio show? I'm pretty sure he lands Monday night. Can always count on you being there, dog.
Thanks, homie.
That's appreciated.
I'm passionate about this brand, and I love being here. I love being on the show with you and collaborating with our team. I mean, we had a really awesome meeting this morning. Everyone's all jacked up and jazzed up about all the exciting stuff we got going on. We have a very special guest that's flying in today.
This afternoon.
He's actually probably getting picked up from the airport in the next 30 or 40 minutes. But Leather Stores, he's a world-renowned chef hailing from Portland, Oregon.
Yeah, if you happen to catch our 420 special, he was one of the chefs here for our 420 special. We're going to be shooting with him all week long. We've got the Big Beautiful Magical Butter live show happening tomorrow where we're going to see him cook 4 to 5 different infused recipes.
Live.
This is a completely gourmet chef. Like, he's cooking all the wildest things that we've never shown you before, that you've never thought about making. This is your guy for it. So make sure to tune into the live show tomorrow and check out what Leather Stores has in store. Yeah, what the stores has in store.
I knew that was coming. No, you're right about that. It's going to be an exquisite culinary experience. He does some fancy stuff, just like really outside the box thinking with his infusions and his cooking styles and his incorporation of flavors. The name of his restaurant, if you guys ever want to check it out in Portland, is called Noble Rot. And it's a unique name. It's very bold to put the word rot in your restaurant name, right?
Well, there's some things you want rotten.
And one thing, the Noble Rot is the enjoyment of all fine things, specifically wines and spirits.
So some of those things that are fermented.
Right.
But we don't really think of them that way.
But if you are going to be enjoying libations, you want it to be only the noblest form. Right?
Only the noblest.
So,
yep, indeed.
Cool. So Leather is coming. He's got some really exciting stuff for us.
Yep, we will be up live with him tomorrow at 2 p.m. in the kitchen. The kitchen, we got it fixed this morning. We broke our stovetop last Friday. You probably didn't even hear about it.
Which one?
The stovetop on the big main centerpiece.
How'd that happen?
You moving around the old deal?
Yeah, Shats is an animal when he
wasn't Shats, was absolutely.
It was
me.
you?
Yeah, it was,
you were manhandling?
I was solo on it, so like.
You should have let Shats do it.
I should have let Shats do it.
Sorry, Shats.
Shats has done it plenty of times without messing it up. I happened to mess it up, so I had to call in Mike this morning to come piece her back together for
Magical
us.
Mike.
Magic Mike, shout out.
Shout out to Magic
Anytime
Mike.
we have an issue with
Shats,
wood or electric.
You should have get Shats help sometimes, you know, because he's got the finesse, he's got the facts.
He does have the facts. I don't know. Like I feel like people don't want to be bothered sometimes. That's how I feel like. You know,
No,
don't bother me.
It's never a bother. When you're on a team situation, people are actually proud to help somebody and to feel needed and useful. So like, I love it when you come and ask me for something. I'm like, wow, that makes me feel good. And then
sometimes I'm even waiting, like you know, popping around doing some other stuff, and it's like as soon as I see one of those other guys, I'm gonna. Wow.
My way to ask for help is to first ask you if you ate your Wheaties. Did you eat your Wheaties today?
Eat your Wheaties?
And that means, are you ready to lift some heavy stuff? I got some crazy thing in the back of my truck. I need help
with this crazy thing we got to unload.
Me and Dalton are like American pickers, I tell you what.
Yeah, there was this nice, there's a nice car for sale up on my dad's lot.
What's the cost?
It's it didn't matter because it's a car. Like it's a nice car. It's a nice Charger, and I looked at it. And it's one of our buddies selling it, and my dad goes, "Oh, I'll find out how much he wants for it." Blah blah blah. And I go, "Don't even bother. It's not a truck. I don't need it. If it doesn't have a bed on it, like it's useless to me." Like,
man, we might be able to use it in our Mad Max creation. I'd like to build like a really rugged looking vehicle, Mad Max style.
I've always wanted to do that.
I watched that movie
life.
The other night, and it's just like
the new one or
awesome.
the old one?
New one.
The new one.
But the old one is awesome too.
Fury Road is next level.
Yeah,
like
that's the new one.
They're
right?
budgeting for props and yeah, that's the new one. Their
they
budgeting
did such
is
a good
just
job.
incredible. Yeah,
such a good job. So.
Yeah, the most badass cars, and they built most of those. Like there was a company that they hired to build out that whole fleet of vehicles that they destroyed and used throughout the film.
I imagine they had to because they did such a great job. Like they had like dump trucks and semi trucks with like old classic cars welded to the roof, and that was the
guy be driving from the
top. Yeah, with like so nuts.
And then a lot of them were built for stunt drivers, where like it shows the guy up on top and he's got the steering wheel, but it's like a parade float where tucked down underneath is an actual stunt driver who's qualified and all that stuff. Yeah. Is he'll hide the driver somewhere else.
Wow.
They do that anytime you see like a really ornate scene of a car driving backwards. It's usually like flopped around from the inside. So they're driving the right way. It's just the inside. The guts are all turned around.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I once seen a guy, he took a car and flipped the body over on the frame, so it looked like it was driving upside down.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
He hid the wheels.
It was a pickup truck, right?
Pickup truck,
yeah. I've seen that guy.
But it looks like it's upside down. And
sometimes what you'll see in movies, and it like so many movies are guilty of doing it, is they'll be filming the car on a trailer. Like you're driving down the road scene where it's showing the two people in the car. The car is actually on a trailer moving. They're not actually driving.
That's a clever idea.
Sometimes you can kind of tell and see it. It's that Wet Hot American Summer.
Oh.
I watched that the other day, and there was that movie is a campy movie, so they were doing it on purpose. But you could really see the fact that it was like all on a trailer. Like then when it switches to stunt driver, you can like clearly see when it's the stunt guy and when it's the real guy. Like
and the way that the angles come in.
Yeah.
So. Cool. Shout out to all our people at home watching on Facebook. Mad love to you. Shout out to everybody on Twitch.
Yeah, welcome everybody from the Tommy Chong Network and from everywhere else around the web.
Good afternoon. Hello. Shout out to Tommy Chong. He just celebrated his birthday this week. And let's sing happy birthday to Tommy Chong, and let's do a hashtag right now on his behalf. Hashtag happy birthday Tommy Chong. And you're going to get a beautiful song sung by myself, Schatzberg, and also Dirty D. Ready?
Right, ready?
A one, a two, a 1, 2, 3, 4. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday,
dear
Tommy
Tommy
Chong.
Happy birthday to you. You counted us in at like a $1.30, a $1.40 like tempo. Like,
hold on. And many more. Thanks to cannabis.
Yeah. Keep eating your herbs, Tommy.
Keep it up.
Keep smoking your herbs, Tommy.
Shout out to the whole Chong family. Dude, what was that counting? It wasn't right? A 1, a 2,
a 1, 2, 3, 4. Happy birthday. It's like, whoa, change of pace. Like, I thought we were singing happy birthday to you.
How would you count us in? Give us the count.
A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3. Happy. See, even that was a little fast.
Yeah.
I guess you don't really count in the happy birthday song.
1, 2, 3, happy birthday.
Lame shots.
Yeah, we got to turn up happy birthday. How do we make happy birthday faster?
There is a few versions of that song that they sing at chain restaurants. Like,
well, yeah, it's because technically the original song's trademarked.
Is it?
Yeah, like I don't even know if we were allowed to sing it there.
Whoa, we're gonna get flagged.
We might get flagged just for
flagged and bagged.
Just for that. No, because it's one person that owns the rights to the song, and like
brilliant.
That's 100% trademarked.
Brilliant.
Sorry, guys.
Speaking of birthdays, happy birthday, Tommy Chong.
Happy birthday, Tommy Chong.
I got my birthday coming up next week. I'm pretty excited.
Oh wow, your birthday is coming up.
What's up? You gonna celebrate with me?
Yeah.
You're too cool.
Where are we going?
I'm trying to go out to the Don't Tell
ranch?
Nobody ranch, buddy.
Goodness.
Gonna go ride some donkeys and some four-wheels.
Yeah. It's the funny farm now.
It is, no, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I do like camping. I like getting in touch with nature, and I love being surrounded by the people that mean the most to me. So I love to spend it with you.
Yeah, dog. We had a good birthday out there last year.
Get funky on some fungi.
It's your birthday and G's birthday coming up again.
Last year, I was blessed enough to have a dual party with my boy G. Our birthdays are like 5 days apart.
Because you're June 5th, okay.
And I believe he's June. Where is it?
Yeah, it's one of them. I don't have it marked. I might say Garen's birthday. Hold on.
It's got to be in there. It's like the 10th or the 12th. Anyway, we celebrated together last year. We had a great birthday party. We did his wife put together what do they call those? A flash mob, and had a choreographed dance already planned, and like 100 people just broke out into dance mode, and it was all and like, what a way to make us feel special.
So dope.
I mean, we had our boys from SoFlo and our boys from Stone Gray. Shout out my brother out there rocking and rolling. And
June 14th.
June 14th is Mr. Angel's birthday.
I knew it was somewhere in there because my mom's is the 9th.
Oh, cool.
And trust me, I think it's weird that like my mom and y'all have your birthday around the same time. Like
Gemini Club. Shout out to my boy Steve
like
Ambrosio. His birthday is coming up too in June. We're all in the Gemini Club. There's something special about that.
I have all these strong Gemini women in my life, and I like to celebrate them.
I know you ain't talking about me, bro. Dirty D. Shout out to my boy,
shout out to the Geminis.
Dirty Dalton. Shout out to Big Baby Scumbag. He's an MC coming out of Tampa. He's got a new song called Dale Earnhardt.
You just showed me his new song. Oh, it's really worth it, guys.
Pull it up on YouTube real quick. Let's just show a glimpse of the clip. It's a fun, entertaining video here. I don't know if you can bring it up on the big TV or how does this work?
Well, Shats has us just like...
He's got access?
Yeah, he's got access.
All right, so it's called Dale Earnhardt, and you can type in Scumbag, Big Baby Scumbag. There you go. That'll pull it up for you. There you go.
Those words should never be together. Dale Earnhardt and Scumbag.
The name of the
those are
artist,
words that just don't go together.
The name of the artist is Big Baby Scumbag, and the actual song is called...
It's called Dale Earnhardt. It's super Florida. You said this guy is Florida, right?
Yes, indeed.
Well, I could tell by looking at the flora and fauna of this video. It's quite clearly Florida. The old burn-up palm trees is a good indication. Trucks no burnouts. Do you have this up there, Shats? Do you see this?
Money in my face, hoes in my face, pocket full of money, I ain't running out of space.
This video is just so beautiful. I love it. The trucks still burn out.
Still eating ramen noodles, bitch, I like the taste. Dale Earnhardt, nigga, do you
All right, anyway, little breakaway there, little track, hot track I heard this weekend. Dale Earnhardt, rest in peace to Dale. That's my boy Dirty Dalton's ultimate hero.
He is. Dale Earnhardt, big inspiration on my life, I gotta say. Like I remember loving him as a kid. He was my version of Michael Jordan.
That's great.
You know, if you had, kids loved Michael Jordan back in the day when he was killing it on basketball or whatever.
Baseball as well, golf.
Yeah.
He's just killed it in life.
I had the old NASCAR heroes, Dale Earnhardt.
I got to meet some really unique athletes this weekend. Some really cool guys. One of them was also a veteran. I want to pull up that video right now. Really cool gentleman. He, let's see here.
But here in the South, NASCAR was just a big part of growing up. We got Daytona just a couple hours away. All that stuff. It was always fun, always momentous.
So my boy Devin Larat, he's a Canadian veteran. You can pull this video up here, Shats. He's beating the Mountain here, the guy from Game of Thrones, the Mountain. So I got to meet the gentleman on the right side, Devin Larat, and this is a cool clip of him beating the Mountain from Game of Thrones in an arm wrestling competition.
So he's half his weight. He's a lot shorter, and man, it's stressful how he kills him with confidence here.
He's smiling the whole time. Look at Devin. He's like, look at me in my eyes.
Watch this.
Watch me as I beat you.
Watch this.
And actually, my boy Sergio just showed me the clip of the Mountain from that scene in the Game of Thrones. They're like fighting to the death, and he got his heel cut out, and he's like laying there. And he grabs the dude and pulls him down and like squashes his eyeballs.
Does he take his foot and put it on his body or so?
No, I don't know.
Oh man, that'd be wild. Yeah.
I didn't get
if
that
he
deep
pickle
into
ricked his ass.
So here we go, Devin Larat. He's beaten the Mountain from Game of Thrones there. But this guy is awesome. He's an amazing athlete, world renowned, and he's utilizing cannabis to help with his recovery and also to feel great on a daily basis. So
now, was the Mountain using cannabis when he did this? Like is this a performance-enhancing drug type situation?
No,
or?
I cannot speak on the Mountain's cannabis use. I didn't get to meet him, but I'm sure he might, maybe.
Now, okay, I haven't seen Game of Thrones, so Schatzberg might have to shout me the answer here. What do they do with his tattoos on the show? In that video,
he wears like a clad of armor, I believe.
To cover it? Okay.
Right? Is that right, Schatz? We can't hear you.
The great Faxberg in the sky, everyone.
Faxberg is muted.
Okay, so they'd either take it out in post or they had it covered up with armor.
Yeah,
which is the answer.
generally he's wearing full suit.
Because when you showed me that earlier, I was like, man, if the show takes place in like the 1400s, how are they denoting the tattoos?
Good point. He's got beautiful arm work there. I mean, his whole sleeve, it looks gorgeous, but it might compromise some work opportunities if you're looking to be an actor, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so.
Well, that's cool. Canada's killing it with the arm wrestlers and the Mountain.
Dude, it's inspiring, and they're fighting for athletes' rights up there to have access to cannabis as well. Hockey players, they have their own Canadian Basketball League, and all different types of athletes that, and what's happening there is the same thing that's happening here in the States. Athletes, when they're in the league, they're really hush-hush. They don't really mention it or talk about it because they don't want to jeopardize their career in any way, shape, or form. But as soon as they retire, as soon as they get out of the league, they start to speak out and speak up and talk about, the fact that they're using cannabis while they played and definitely now that they're out of the game.
Yeah, I believe the NHL, which is the American National Hockey League, the cannabis is not on the list of banned substances. I believe that we've covered that before, that it is not. For Canada, I bet it's very similar.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the name of the hockey league in Canada is, or it might even be under the NHL.
Well, they have some Canadian teams that are in the NHL, but then there's also a Canadian hockey league as well that's separate. But I don't think that it's listed as a banned substance, and the World Health Organization has identified it as safe. And
nice.
It's really cool. So cool.
So I'm being informed the NHL is not the American League.
It's the national. It's the National Hockey League.
The National Hockey League.
So it includes same with NBA.
But what nation is it referring to?
North America.
Okay.
Because National Basketball Association also has Canadian basketball teams. Toronto Raptors.
The NBA has
Toronto Raptors, Vancouver Grizzlies.
I think somebody said the Toronto Raptors. Yeah, the Toronto Raptors.
Yeah, we the North.
But we were talking about hockey when they said that, so,
Yeah, national.
Yeah.
I
don't know sports, y'all. If it ain't got 4 tires, I'm not interested.
So, cool. Very exciting stuff going on in the world. We'll be heading out to the Cannabis Cup this weekend. They have the NorCal Cannabis Cup coming up. So that's super exciting. It's this weekend, June 2nd.
In Santa Rosa.
Yes.
In Santa Rosa, California.
Yeah.
So that's cool. You and the boys are heading out for it.
Yeah, we're going to be doing a really special little super VIP installment. We're planning to provide people with a very exquisite dessert experience. So you'll be able to create custom-made dessert skewers with fruit and pastries and designer desserts, and then run it through some CBD-infused chocolate, hit it with some toppings, and just enjoy yourself. It's going to be really, really fancy.
That's pretty awesome.
They have some live music going on. They got Phil Lesh and friends. So the legendary bass player, the original bass player from Grateful Dead, is going to be out there playing some music in NorCal. Know that's going to be heady.
You know that's going to be heady.
They got, I know you'll like this one, Dirty D. They got Blues Traveler going to be playing some music out there. My man, reggae sensation and awesome songwriter G-Love and the Special Sauce.
G-Love's going to be there?
G-Love actually just got caught up in some legal trouble recently, so maybe he'll be speaking on that. He got caught with a vape pen down here in Florida and got arrested. So not cool at all.
Yeah, folks got to be careful. Some of these celebrities, when you're in legal states, I saw it happen to Wiz Khalifa out in El Paso, Texas, back in the day. Like he was in town for something, and they popped him at the airport on a private jet with cannabis. So like, even though you're on a private jet, and at the time he would have been from somewhere that was legal and ... You got to watch where you're going to.
Yeah, no, absolutely. When you're crossing state lines, you really have to be careful.
I find this interesting on their on the Cannabis Cup website for this event.
They have the license posted.
They have the license posted. There were some licensing issues for one of their past events, so I like that they're being completely transparent. Like, this is the event license.
Yeah.
Here you go. And it's from the Bureau of Cannabis Control of California.
That's important. It's crucial, and I know that there's a lot of changes happening due to the laws and things that are, Prop 64 and everything. So NorCal is a cool area. It's literally and figuratively full of a lot of history. I'm expecting to see some top strains. There's going to be a lot of new products up there available. So
now it's the NorCal Cannabis Cup.
That's right.
So this is bringing everybody from up north, down a little bit for it. I was saying that earlier. I don't know if I necessarily consider NorCal Santa Rosa, but like I'm not from California or anything, so
yeah,
I got no room to talk.
Yes, yeah. There's SoCal and there's NorCal. So
there's SoCal and NorCal, but NorCal is one of the greatest places in the country. I'd have to say, after seeing much of this country. I love Northern California.
You took a pretty cool trip last summer. You rented an RV and just sort of booked it down the coast,
yeah,
right?
A couple of summers ago, spent like 3 weeks in an RV just traveling went up the coast and then back down through the woods, I guess a good way to put it. Get Yosemite and some of the other national parks, Volcanic National Forest, some of those other ones, and then ended back in San Fran. Beautiful trip. I was as American as it gets, like, They show all those old movies with the American road trips. That felt like an American road trip.
Nice. That must have been really special. Gave you a taste for it out there.
Oh yeah, camping in national parks where the redwoods are. Like you park and there's just redwoods like surrounding you and everything. You walk out the RV door and you're just like, they're giant trees. They're so huge. Like it looks like the biggest city you've ever been in, but they're trees. They're not buildings.
Technically the forest is kind of like a city, but it's even more connected.
But it is a little more connected.
I would say that the forest is more connected than a city, and the wires in the city are equivalent to the mushrooms in the woods.
Yeah, you got you're talking mycelium.
Yeah. The fungus.
What if the mycelium's like an internet that the trees are using?
It is. It's been proven.
Whoa.
I just discovered.
Woke, yo.
I found that out, and there's 16,000 varietals of mushrooms out there that they've identified, and hundreds of thousands of others they haven't even discovered. And there's over 200 that they've just like really studied fully. And of those 200, 50 of them have been identified as like the superstar mushroom. Like you should be eating those for sure. Like no negative side effects to them, and like just as a dietary essential. You know?
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah, so it's nuts. There's a lot of knowledge there. Actually,
we've been in the cannabis industry for a while now. We saw that trend coming for like a while ago, I want to say. Like there was like some kind of thought where it's like, wow, High Times is really going to be focusing on cyclaben and things like that. Like that's starting to happen.
It is, I mean, yes, scientists and researchers, patients, they've even came out and showed that, you know, psychedelics are helping with people suffering from depression and anxiety. You know, finding that drugs like psilocybin, LSD, they help alleviate depression, anxiety, addiction, and it's crazy that they have a profound effect, and there's so much more for us to learn about how our mind works. I just met a woman actually this past weekend, and she told me she was suffering from a lot of different issues. It stemmed from pain. From the pain caused other issues in her life. She became very depressed and on the brink of suicide, and had nowhere to go, and by chance read that there could be, you know, some benefit to trying some magical substances. So before she killed herself, she went out to the jungle and got linked up with a shaman down in South America, had a trip of her lifetime, and is now on a laser-focused quest for health and wellness, and sharing her story and motivating other people to get up out of that slump and discover how amazing you are, and really realize your worth as a human. And everybody has that potential within us. It just sometimes takes a little trigger or a little bit of connectivity, a little bit of connection within that mind to get you out of that other state of mind you were in and get you motivated towards a really positive, you know, lifestyle.
Yeah, it can really shift your gears.
Right? I mean, it's powerful.
Yeah, put some momentum in your pocket.
I mean, they're talking about all these startups out in Silicon Valley and how these guys are microdosing.
I've heard a lot about that. A lot of folks out there microdosing.
And
the old Lakeside Drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lakeshore Drive. Yeah.
Some of the
take a ride on down to Lakeshore Drive.
Most amazing discoveries in our lifetime are thanks to a little bit of that experimentation, right? And connectivity and.
We could have quantum physics just because of that, you know? Because like, it makes you able to see it all, and then the scientists wanted to like prove it mathematically. Einstein is kind of who I'm referring to here. He's like a proponent of LSD. I felt like because he saw the quantum physics, he wanted to be able to find some type of mathematical reasoning for some of the things that like could be seen in these different various states of mind. So.
Yeah, a lot of discovery and exciting things have came to be because of, you know, mind exploration and connectivity. And so we're talking a little bit about, you know, an impact of, we were going to talk about medical cannabis, but now that we're sort of talking about psychedelics as well, we could just talk in general about the effect and the impact
psychotropics in the workplace.
Psychotropic herbs in the workplace, right? And a tidal wave of change is hitting us, both in the US and Canada, with legalization happening at a rapid rate. Companies are already coming out and they've publicly said that they're no longer drug testing in legal states, right?
Yep.
Other companies, and depending on what industry you're talking about, they're being a lot more lenient and forgiving on their employees who are utilizing cannabis, whether it's for you know, mental inspiration or for just overall wellness, right? So let's talk a little bit about that, Dawn. What's your take on it? I mean,
The impact on the workplace.
Because you've had a few jobs.
I've had a few jobs where
before you came
smoking like even without being in the cannabis industry, where smoking cannabis was just
not okay.
No, where it was totally allowed.
And your prior jobs?
At prior jobs.
And are we talking on like production environments?
In production environments,
okay.
Yes. So that also changes the rules a little bit too, because there's a few things you do in production environments that you wouldn't necessarily do in a corporate workplace.
In a corporate style.
Either.
So production has a lot of creativity.
You're in the creative zone, like a lot of the people around you.
Green room for entertainment usually.
Green room for entertainment.
Green room.
Yeah. It kind of depends on who's coming in. If you know the person that's coming in to film that day is a proprietor of smoking, and it's performance based too. Some people perform better, with their proper things in their system. Some people that's cannabis and all that. So it's all about playing it right, being professional, while at the same time there's a lot of production industry that uses cannabis. Like it's a typical thing on shoots, and even if it's not a whole crew that's smoking, there's usually at least one person on there. That I remember seeing it even before I was smoking. I remember like the one guy. It's like, oh wow, he's going over there to smoke. Like before I even like had caught up to the whole game on that point. But
I've been behind the scenes with a few bands and up on stage and things. But hanging out with musicians, you witness a lot of that, where they're utilizing cannabis before their show or even before they go in the studio, or even recording tracks in the studio while you're enjoying your cannabis is an even more motivating experience, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Like I feel like it just gets you in the zone. It gets you ready for work. Like there's some days where in the morning, that's what I need. That's what I need to set me into the pace of work that I'm going to do. So it depends. Like there's some days where I do less.
So I've read about web developers and the tech guys. They like a lot of them, a large percentage of web developers utilize cannabis, and especially when they're getting deep in that code, they're able to microdose a little bit of cannabis and get motivated and really get focused on the task at hand.
And it absolutely helps do that. Like coding and editing are very similar.
Yeah, like video editing is a similar,
it's similar to coding.
An involved process.
And I feel like it's all kind of like some kind of game. Mm-hmm. Like video editing is a game in the same kind of way that coding's a game. You're trying to crack something, like you're trying to make a video good.
Yeah.
And for editing, I know the editors, any editor I've ever worked with, they all love getting a nice smoke on and getting focused in their own heads, like getting that own internal thinking, because it's just you and the computer. Mm-hmm. Like you're having a dialogue with yourself and the computer as you're rocking back and forth.
So some careers it makes sense for the employee or the specialist to be maybe microdosing or using a little bit of cannabis at the workplace.
Using a little bit. It's all about, I wouldn't necessarily like doing it before I go on conference calls and stuff like that. I like to be focused when I'm going to be having to talk on something or, answer to something, I like to be a little more focused.
So do you notice that like in your speech patterns that if you're medicated that it sometimes will make you not as sharp?
A point of diminishing returns.
Got it.
Is what I find myself on. Is like there's some points where it's like, yes, that it is good, it's all good, but you never want to be caught with your pants down for all, Somebody asks you a question, you don't want to be sitting there like, you don't want to be stumbling, you want to have an answer to the question.
Absolutely. So. Yeah, and so that's a good point. When you go into certain social situations, or if you're on a conference call or an important meeting with an employer or a job interview, some of these moments in your life, you probably want to wait till afterwards to medicate, right?
But if it's a day where you're doing creative writing, or you're writing articles, or you're editing, or even sending emails to some extent, like that, take with a grain of salt. Like some of you out there can handle it, and some of you can't. So, like, pick and choose your battles, like in anything else.
There's other jobs that are obvious that you wouldn't want someone who's working that job to be under the influence of any substance. I mean, one I can think of off top is anyone driving vehicles publicly. or operating any heavy machinery.
Any type of professional transportation, like any time where both the driver of a commercial vehicle that's carrying people, such as a school bus, anything like that, like definitely shouldn't be under the influence of anything.
Not
like
okay.
Heavy
Not okay.
machinery, big cranes, construction equipment, like hundreds of people at stake. No, you probably shouldn't be. Yeah.
And I agree completely, but it's funny because within the same sentence, I can say that I've rode in a couple Ubers and. I found that the driver was super cool, and we rolled up.
There's some Duber Ubers?
Yeah, we hotboxed and smoked out with the Uber, and he's smoking weed. We're driving down the road. I felt completely comfortable with that situation, but it didn't make it okay, and it's not acceptable, and it still doesn't make it okay for any driver out there to be driving intoxicated.
Yeah, no, that's
not okay.
Absolutely where the law lies is you should not be driving intoxicated.
Right.
That is
whether that's prescription medication, alcohol, or cannabis, right? And
or anything, any of the substances. Like,
yeah. So
mind your driving.
That's something that we don't condone here.
A lot of times it's left up to that old roadside sobriety test.
Little swab, little blood test.
No, little dance, little like count the alphabet backwards, like that whole deal. And like that, from that, they can determine whether you're intoxicated or not. Like
walking the line.
Imagine who wants like a bunch of lights and people in your face asking questions and shit when you're
It's
high.
hard. I've had that happen one day. I had to prove my sobriety before I drove, which I was sober. I didn't get pulled over. It wasn't that situation, but I did do one of those tests when I was fully sober, and it was kind of challenging just when you're sober, like
because you start thinking nerves of it, like. Being nervous can make you, misperform or be more shaky, or like I'm just thinking about it makes me want to like quiver like a dang bird. But
yeah, so anxiety and nervousness, that's a good point. I know that sometimes there's certain times when I can, if I'm feeling any of those feelings, I can medicate a bit of cannabis there, and it sort of really alleviates that moment where I'm like, oh, all right. Now I can gather my thoughts, and maybe being anxious isn't the right reaction to this situation. What can I do to fix this problem, right? And like, that's what it does for me sometimes.
And I feel like even when you're still anxious, like it can cause a little bit of anxiety too. But I feel like when you're a little high, like that's the overcoming part. Like the knowing how you act when you're stoned, knowing how to act stoned, having acted stoned. That little bit can give you an edge, a competitive edge. Shout out to Goldie Glare. They were asking if it's still okay to use cannabis during sex. Yes, maybe.
Probably one of the best things you could ever do. To be honest, yeah, that's definitely okay. And there's some really well-written books out there highlighting, intimacy and the use of cannabis. Not only like smoking before, but also smoking afterwards. I mean, after a good session in bed, relaxing with your loved one and burning one.
It's like cool down time.
Super cool, and you probably have some of the best conversations you've ever had. You'll be truly connected at that point.
I want to give a shout out to Wasp Bird. He asked a question earlier that we didn't get to. He said, Dirty D, Chevy or Ford? Neither. Dodge. Yeah. The answer there.
Good question though, Wasp Red, and we're lovers of all the different vehicles. I think we can agree that Chevy has a great product line. Ford's got great trucks if you soup them up right. Dodges just off the line are just pretty badass vehicles.
If I was to buy a new pickup truck, I'd like the way the new Dodges are.
Well, if you bought a new pickup truck, it would have to be a Ram.
It would, yes.
They did a rebrand.
It's not the Dodge anymore.
No Dodge.
It's the Ram line of pickup trucks.
Yeah, Rams is all the trucks, and then I guess Dodge is fully on the car side now.
What's funny is that needs a little more research done, because like there was even cars up the other day, but it was using the Ram logo. So I'm not sure what Dodge has done with their marketing department.
They just went for it.
I have no idea, but that new Ram Rebel is just pretty.
There was even...
shout out to Dayton Andrews Dodge.
you
sponsored your boy.
You remind me of, what's it called? That baseball guy.
Sponsor me. Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, Kenny Powers.
Kenny Powers, Eastbound and Down. That's what I was watching some of that this weekend. Watched a little.
Dalton's looking for a sponsorship, guys.
Yeah.
You're already sponsored by Magical Butter, bud.
Sponsored by Magical Butter, Miller Lite.
Not yet.
Brass Knuckles OG.
Nope, not yet. Not yet. You can't just say it and it happens. So we got Chef
You're
Leather.
saying enough on the radio.
Chef Leather just landed. He just texted me. He's getting picked up by the Magical Butter limo from the airport. He's going to be brought down here to the Magical Butter studios, whisked away, and brought into our beautiful creation factory to create some amazing content this week with the team. I'm really excited to see what he comes up with. He's a brilliant chef, indeed.
A brilliant chef. Yeah, we're going to be doing like 5 or 6 recipes tomorrow. That's our live show tomorrow. Is like as many strong coming through live all the way through where he shows you a recipe from start to finish, like every ingredient, every step of the way. He's going to talk you through it. So.
I'm jazzed up. I'm going to come with all the energy tomorrow, all the hype. We're going to pump it up live for you guys in the Magical Butter kitchen. We got Leather Stores hanging out. He's going to be crushing it. Really going to be awesome. We also are going to be having, are we going to have a little Fortnite action in the evening?
We've got a little Fortnite action with Dingy.
Dingy Dong.
Dingy Dong. And then Chef Renee, I believe, is back. She's bringing us one gluten-free recipe.
Oh, okay.
Help break up the day. So we'll be able to cut over to her for a gluten-free recipe and then back in the kitchen for some more. I was going to say meats, but gluten-free isn't non-meat, so it's not.
Meat is gluten-free.
Meat is gluten-free, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, so she'll have something awesome for you.
Some kind of infused gluten-free
recipe. We'll get a feel for what Chef Leather's making, and then get a feel for what she wants to make, and we'll have all the cooks in the kitchen.
All the cooks. Too many cooks.
Too many cooks.
It's gonna be awesome. Really stoked out about that. Also, there's a lot of stuff happening all over the world, really, right now, but all over the country and all over the state of Florida, as far as legalities are concerned with cannabis. And it looks like last week a Florida judge ruled that non-smokable forms of medical cannabis was found unconstitutional. So Florida had rolled out their medical program, but they banned smokable whole flower. And they've just ruled that that is unconstitutional. Huge victory for people and patients all over the state. What's your take on that, Dirty?
Oh man, it all kind of has to do with the Joe Redner case, which you're familiar with Joe Redner from back in the day, having grown up in this area.
Local legend.
Tampa Bay is not known for, but one of Tampa Bay's attributes is its wonderful strip clubs.
Adult lifestyles.
Yes, it's strip clubs, adult lifestyles, and it's adult entertainment. And Joe Redner was a big proponent for that back in the day. He's the reason why you got liquor and things like that, and some of the rules that are a little bent here in Florida is all because of Joe Redner. Well, a couple weeks ago, he went against the Florida court system to say that he could grow his own plants. Mm-hmm. And in that, Joe Redner being such an activist and things, the Supreme Court of Florida went and said, you shouldn't fight this. You should let it be what it is. And from that, the smokable marijuana was also found to be unconstitutional. So it was both unconstitutional to say that Mr. Redner couldn't grow his own plants, but to say what he couldn't do with the plants that he was legally growing, having a medical card here in Florida, is where that stands. So they swung the door open and said yes. We can appeal that and say it's unconstitutional, but last week, the week after they said that they were going to be changing it, they
an appeal?
They appealed it.
Wow.
Yes, the state appeals the judge's decision who said that it was unconstitutional. The state has appealed that, so that's going to impose a delay of some sort.
Wow. All right. So they're. They got lawsuits in order challenging the ban, and there's all kinds of fights happening. One of the patients in the limelight here in the state of Florida, and really one of the pioneers for the medical fight here in the States, is Kathy Jordan. She suffers from ALS. She's survived ALS for now over, I believe, half her life, and originally was given a death sentence by the doctor. and took up medical cannabis a long time ago, way before we were talking about medical cannabis. She knew that that was essential to her life, and the federal government raided her home and busted her for her husband was growing cannabis in their home. They fought that fight there and received the right to grow their own plants in her home there back before medical cannabis was even talked about. And you know, smoked cannabis is something that helps Kathy Jordan due to her ALS and her symptoms. There's buildup that happens in your lungs, and sometimes other forms aren't going to be helpful. She's able, when she's feeling pain or when she wakes up in the morning, take a small puff, clear her lungs, cough up all that
Cannabis can work as an expectorant. You know, when you take your big hit in the morning, your big dab in the morning, you know, it gets a lot out of you.
And so she's been fighting the fight, and shout out to Kathy Jordan and Bob Jordan. Thank you so much, and continue to fight the good fight. I hope that we can make you know, this be available to so many people out there.
How do you feel about the law based around that non-smokable form? So for those of you out there that don't know, here in Florida, we do have legal medical marijuana, but right now, flower form is sold in what's a lot like a K-cup.
Yeah.
Like a K-cup that would come with your coffee, and that is an insert for your vaporizer. See the air quotes there.
It's like a proprietary pod system that's only available through one dispensary. And so in my opinion, I don't think it's got the patient in mind. And who's to say that the flower you're getting inside of these pods is top quality when you can't even see it before you purchase it?
Yeah, when you can't inspect it, because you know, many of us, you know, familiar with cannabis, you can look at a bud and smell a bud and be able to see on the outside of it what the quality is looking like that. And so for that being broken down and put into a little capsule, you're not fully getting a look at what you're smoking. So who's to say it's not the lower end pieces or anything like that?
And science is out there. You know, they've already shown that the value of the individual cannabinoids is not equivalent to the value of the whole plant. There's an entourage effect that they've spoke of. You know, THC and CBD work better in conjunction with each other. They work even better with flavonoids and terpenes all involved. It's a whole team, and so whole plant medicine is essential. So when they restrict patients to only purchasing vape pens and tincture drops and extracted oils or flower and pod systems, it's very limiting, and it's not for everybody, and I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with that.
Yeah, I'm not okay with it either. I think, you know, it's a fine line. If it's legal, it's not really about how you're consuming it. Like, if it's yours and you can legally have it, who's to say like what you should be doing with it? You know, like, is there a law on alcohol that says, you know, how you can be consuming it? Like, no, you can have that liquor, but only in a mixed drink. You drink it straight up, and it's no fair.
Yeah,
it's no good game. And it's like, that's kind of what they're saying. Like,
kinda, yeah.
Like, you can have your liquor, but only mix it with something. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, who's just said I don't want to drink it straight up?
Yeah,
like,
not fair. I know one thing that was beautiful. Coming home from Canada, you realize that there's a large percent of the population up there growing their own cannabis at home, all ages of people, not young. There's not just young people doing this. It's all ages, old elderly people that have been growing for 30 or 40 years, or planted their first seed in the 60s and are still doing it, you know, and those are the people that benefit the most from medicinal cannabis, is having the access and the ability to grow your own plant and not have to pay top price per gram. You're able to receive the benefits of the whole plant, the trim, the sugar leaf, the flower, the hash, all the way through the harvest of this plant. People are receiving benefits from it, all the way down to the point when they chop the stalk and they can even process that stem. So when you limit people and you don't give them access to the whole plant, it's not cool.
That's kind of similar to the medical system in Michigan, which I've always, like, looked at respected that system. Like I look at Michigan's medical marijuana system, and I think that's the way it should be. It's legalized. It's watched. You have to apply for a license, and there's certain rules by the government for dispensaries and things like that. But it really gives the power to the people. Like you yourself are allowed to grow. You're allowed to grow 4 people, like a patient program where 6 people grow for you, or you grow for 6 people, and that allows you to have 6 plants times 6, so you're at 36 plants, and those are going to a person. I know you're Snapchatting me right now. I can see it. I can see him Snapchatting me. It's too meta. It's freaking me out.
These are the new Snapticals, the Snapchat glasses. Garen got us a few pairs of these to wear when we go to the trade shows. And I gotta tell you guys, these are awesome. I'll upload some of the clips from this weekend and also the clip of Dalton talking on our Magical Butter Snapchat. But they actually have a little beautiful case that charges them up. They feature 2 different cameras, and then they compile that footage. You get a beautiful, crisp, clear shot. It looks almost like a GoPro.
It is crisp and clear. That's one thing I can say, because Snapchats tend to be a little low quality. Not the Snapchats that come out of those glasses.
The Spectacles provides like almost like 4K, would you say?
It's high definition.
Okay, high def.
That's all in the detail of the numbers. I mean, you could have low quality 4K and like not know the difference between high definition if it's a high quality high definition. But that's an argument for another time.
Got it. We don't want to get too deep in that. Speaking of Meta, I ran into a brand that you'd appreciate. They're called Meta Cannabis.
Meta Cannabis.
And nice. I was like, wow, that's dope.
We smoking joints while we riding on blunts.
So cool, man. This has been a good show.
This has been a good show. I got to pop out for just a second here.
You pop out. Let's get my boy...
yeah, you want to bring Rob on?
Riggedy Rob.
See how Rob feels about all this Florida cannabis versus Canada cannabis versus cannabis in general.
Rob, come on down.
I'm ready to go. Tag in, Rob. Tag in. Whoosh.
Bag and tag.
I actually gave him a high five.
Cool.
That's the tap out. Take her away, Rob.
Hi.
My boy Rob Gargiulo.
Hello.
Let's move this computer for you, sir.
Sorry, I don't want to spill coffee on your stuff.
Oh, it's all right. It's all right. We got to be careful. So
you're a good host. Look at this.
Thank you, my friend. You got plenty of room.
Thank you.
How are you doing, Rob?
I'm doing well. Good
Looks
to
like
see
you're,
you. Hello, how are you?
You're deep in the inbox game there, trying to respond to everybody.
Trying to sell my 2012 Jeep Wrangler if anybody's out there and interested.
Nice. You're looking for 20 grand to get?
Yeah, about that.
All right, all right. I know these Jeeps really hold their value.
Yeah, 52,000 miles. It's a weekend vehicle if anybody's interested. Treated with care.
What's special about your Jeep?
Nothing.
It doesn't have like something.
No, it's got a lift on it, and it's got the train horn from Horn Blasters, and it's got an outdoor speaker system, so I can talk to people as I'm driving. But I don't like to do that because people just generally yell rude things to one another.
They get offended.
Yeah, and I don't want to be rude, so there's no real point. My kid will sing into it sometimes while we drive.
And even if you're saying polite things, they could misconstrue it for road rage or something.
Yeah, and if you see a giant Jeep flying by you yelling things, you have no idea what they're saying. Yeah. So if anybody's interested, contact me on the internet.
Holler, holler. So, Mr. Rob, happy Memorial Day. Did you have a good weekend?
I did. How about you? I heard you were in Canada for your Memorial Day weekend.
They really think I'm balling, y'all. Yeah. Nova Scotia. Ooh. Sorry, that's a little riff-raff. I was up in Toronto. Now I'm up in Canada more than Tim Hortons.
I like Tim Hortons. That's a good place.
That's like the Wawa of the North.
Yeah.
Bro.
I love Wawa. The fact that you guys have one right here in the vicinity of your studios. Thank you, Wawa. It's perfect.
All right, so now they're trying to bid on your truck. I'll tell you, I got deep into this Facebook group recently. My boy turned me onto it, but it's dedicated to couch auctions. And we've done a couch auction live here on the live show in the past, but there's like this thing that people do to troll other people. So all these people go live on Facebook, right?
Okay.
And then as soon as someone goes live, it gets posted to this couch auction group, and then collectively anyone in the group goes and joins the live stream, and we all go in there and we start trying to bid on a couch, right? And if there is no couch, you convince the guy to go walk in the room and find where the couch is.
And show you the couch?
Show you the couch, or you try to get him to put a shoe on his head. And all these people do it. They'll take their shoes off and put them on their head. And it's just like, I can't believe there's this whole community of people that collectively come together and try to bid on couches on live videos.
People have a lot of time on the internet. That's what I found. You can find just about anything. You search Reddit long enough, you'll come across our website for just about anything on there.
I tell you, that's how I discovered a couple interesting information about Toronto this weekend just by going on Reddit.
I heard you mention Weed Maps earlier, the app. I've downloaded it, but I've never been in a state
where it mattered.
Yeah, like it's never, because I'll put it on in Florida, but it won't give me a ding for anything.
Yeah, Florida will probably pop up with some of our medical dispensaries now, but it's very useful when you're in legal states. I know for a state like, let's say, Colorado, we stayed downtown in Denver. We pulled up Weed Maps, and the amount of shops that were in the area, there were so many shops, the map was saturated with little points. You know, I couldn't even distinguish one from the other or where I even was. But luckily, the Weed Maps interface is very useful. You can zoom. As you get closer to the block you're on, you'll notice that like there's one on every corner.
Yeah?
It's crazy. Wow. It's crazy. So yeah, Weed Maps is awesome. They're all over the world internationally. You can utilize their services. So if you pop up in an out-of-town spot and you're looking for cannabis in a legal way, look it up on Weed Maps.
Yeah, I tried it in New York, but New York, it was not legal. And so I've also found that people, I'm not condoning this, I've learned that people use social media to also help other people who are in need of cannabis, which I've always found I don't like putting anything down in writing. Maybe I'm just old school, but I don't even like texting it. I'll always be, hey, can I just call you and ask if I can swing by? I don't want to put anything in writing. It's never good.
I agree. And, you know, there is specific apps out there that are designed to network people who are looking to meet up and help each other out. But, yeah, I'm not really hip on that.
My buddy told me the dark web.
I'm not down with the digital.
No, I'm not. I have no idea how to access the dark web. I have no idea really even what it is. It kind of scares me. It's the internet, but not the internet. But it is the internet. That's the best way that somebody described it to me. It is the internet, but it's not the internet, but it is the actual internet.
Internet is nuts. It is crazy. Thank you guys, everybody out there who's tuning in live right now on the web. This is the Magical Butter Radio Show. Hanging out right now with a special guest. I got Rob Gargiulo.
It's me. I'm special.
You are very special, my man, and we love having you around, bro.
I like being here. It's fun to come over here and hang out with you guys. You, Dalton, Shatz, the whole crew.
Everybody.
I saw some of your guys over at MegaCon this weekend, in fact. I was down there and I saw a taller gentleman who, I forget what his name is, but I saw him at MegaCon. Hello to you from Magical Butter, tall sir, that I saw at MegaCon.
Oh, cool. I don't even know who you might have ran into there, but let's see. I'm trying to get logged in here on the Facebook action. We got people watching on Facebook, on Twitch. We're live on YouTube. You can check us out on our website at MagicalButter.com.
I got to try and win a shirt because my girlfriend's sister, her birthday's coming up.
Hold on.
She would like a Magical Butter shirt.
You're saying that you have to try to win a shirt?
I got to try and win. She wants one of the blue Magical Butter shirts in a small men's size. And I went, I'll try and win you one.
Well, how about we just hook her up with one, Rob?
There you go.
All you got to do is ask.
Happy birthday, Hannah. Enjoy
Hannah,
it.
happy birthday.
There you go.
Happy birthday to anybody who's watching. If you're celebrating your special day, we're happy you're celebrating with us. You guys could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we thank you for that. It's the Magical Butter Radio Show. As always, we give people a chance to win. Share this video out right now with all your friends so they don't miss this show, and give them a chance to win as well. Shout out to Golden Egg Layer. They're saying hello to my friend Rob here.
Hello, Golden Egg Layer.
Very nice of you. Very nice. So, cool. We got a lot of exciting things. I'm heading out to California this weekend. I'm really jacked up about it. We're going to be up in Santa Rosa for the Cannabis Cup.
Oh, yeah, I heard Blues Traveler is going to be there.
You a fan of them or what?
I do. I like the one song that they have, but I know that they have some more than just that one. But I can only think of that one song. And I can't even think of it right now.
How's it go?
I don't know. For some reason, I have, somebody's singing it.
Go. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Look around, my pretty baby, better look everything you hope nitty gritty. Yeah.
The wrong guy, the wrong situation.
Back
right
down, roll me. Yeah.
But I heard that John Popper, the big fat guy, he got skinny.
Oh, let's look at his most recent photo here. Yeah, he's trim. He's trimmed
Trimmer,
up.
yeah.
He trimmed up. Man, he's a legend. I know they used to wear that hat with the antlers on it, and I really got a kick out of that as a kid. That was some really cool, memorable look for me. You know?
I like the bare naked ladies. I know that has nothing to do with Blues Traveler, but I like the bare naked ladies. Every time I see a fat singer with glasses, I kind of think of bare naked ladies. They're from Canada.
You know who else loves that band is Dalton, and I believe Schatz. Schatz like has the Shrek soundtrack on repeat in his whip.
Now I'm a believer. They got some good songs, man. Bare naked ladies, check them out. Pinch me. So Cannabis Cup.
I'm thinking of Smash Mouth.
Yeah, Smash Mouth. Might as well be Walking on the Sun. Hey, now you're an all-star.
Aren't they around the same era?
Yeah, all that Fastball was that time. The Way. Yeah.
Oh.
The 90s were a bad time for, like the late 90s were a bad time for rock and roll music.
Cool. So I guess they're talking about medical cannabis out in Utah a little bit, and the Mormons are in an uproar. They're in opposition of the medical marijuana ballot that is being proposed in Utah. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints issued a memorandum prepared with 31 different legal issues supporting its stance against allowing marijuana for medical use.
Among those issues were it will allow some people to grow their own marijuana, so they're against that. It will create significant challenges for law enforcement. Dispensaries will be allowed to give free samples to card holders. Is that commonplace that in other states a card holder can get a free sample of medicinal marijuana if they walk into a clinic?
I don't know about a free sample, but a lot of the states are reciprocal with, like, if you're a medical patient in your home state and you come to visit, they will reciprocate and allow you to purchase there.
Did not know that. They say here that people with prior convictions will be allowed to get a medical card. It does not require a person to get a doctor's prescription. Are there any other states out there that... So then how is it medicinal if it doesn't require a doctor's prescription? Have you ever heard of that, where it doesn't... you can get medicinal marijuana without a prescription?
Yeah, not a prescription, but just a doctor's recommendation.
Oh, so it's not an actual prescription.
You're able to purchase it as frequent as you need. You don't need to keep visiting that doctor and have them rewrite a prescription. So it's just a recommendation, which is totally common. So, I mean, if you don't know, Utah is highly controlled by the Mormon Church. I mean, they run that place, and 67% of Utah's population is Mormon.
Wow. That is a large percentage.
They have strong influence in local and government there, and we'll see what happens. Let's see. I know that it says here that the Mormon faith forbids members to drink coffee, tea, and alcohol, or smoke, or use recreational drugs. So yeah, no fun in the Mormon Church. They're not even drinking the body of Christ. So
the Utah Patients Coalition, they've donated $300,000 to try and help get medicinal marijuana passed on the November ballot. But they point to all the good uses that the plant can have. This is a direct quote. It can help those suffering from conditions such as cancer, epilepsy, autism, PTSD, AIDS, MS, ALS, Crohn's, chronic pain, and more. That's from DJ Shantz, who is a member of the Utah Patients Coalition, who's tried to help get medicinal marijuana passed in Utah.
Yeah, Utah needs to get their act together because there's, I'm sure, plenty of patients there that are suffering. There's probably plenty of patients that are actually Mormons that could benefit from cannabis, and they're forbidden because of their religious beliefs, which is okay, but the other people that are there, they should have access and have the ability. The other thing that I notice is Utah, if you look at a map of the United States, they're sandwiched right in the middle of Nevada and Colorado. And Nevada and Colorado both have
legal.
Full legalization of cannabis.
Wow.
I mean, it's not that short. It's not that far of a drive to go either side of the state. 4
Where
hour.
do you go if you head up?
Idaho.
Idaho, and down is Arizona.
Arizona's got a pretty solid medical program as well. So Utah citizens are going to start jumping state lines, you know?
Well, they even just had, and this is even more of a reason why I think that having it legal for medicinal opens the conversation for it to be legal for recreational down the road. And right here, there was an article, this is from News 4 Utah, where people took a synthetic marijuana extract that was made on the black market, and 52 people got sick from it because it wasn't actually made by someone who knew what they were doing. So they were taking something, synthetic marijuana, wasn't any type of, just imagine if they were able to get actual marijuana instead of having to take a synthetic, something that somebody made in their basement that doesn't have the right stuff, made 52 different people sick from it.
Wow.
They tested positive for a synthetic compound called 4-CCB or YOLO CBD oil.
Ew. So that's scary stuff. Really scary, and giving a bad name to the real CBD oils that are out there.
Because it can start to give people seizures. It can make them lose focus. They can have hallucinogenic symptoms.
Yeah, so be very careful as a consumer what type of oils you are consuming, and you want to make sure that it's truly CBD and derived from either hemp or cannabis, and that the oil is all, you know, registered, labeled. You know, part of the benefits to having a magical butter machine is peace of mind, knowing what you're putting in your actual body. So even that is a better option than just getting these black market oils and becoming sick. That's the first I've even heard of that, and pretty scary stuff.
Yeah, it even says a cannabis advocacy group said the black market synthetic oils are a reason why their initiative to get medicinal marijuana on the November ballot will make it safer for the public. So it always helps if you don't really want to go through the government, but it helps knowing that you're getting stuff that's actually government regulated and safe for you to consume instead of going and buy it from Joe who made it in his bathtub with a bunch of bath salts.
Yeah, that was one of the main arguments when they were first pushing for legalization, is that a lot of the crime and issues and the experiences that people have to go through on the black market can be avoided if you give people, you know, safe and legal access.
Accessibility to it.
Right. So, I mean, and that's historically true no matter what you're talking about. I mean, look at the height of crime whenever Prohibition made alcohol illegal. It was still available. People were still drinking. They were still drinking socially. They just had to do it in secret, and it birthed a whole criminal underground that thrived off of moonshine and bootlegging and you know, secretly getting alcohol into specific cities and towns, you know. So same goes for cannabis.
It was part of the rise of the mafia and the mob was because of Prohibition.
Yep.
So.
Yep. So, what else is on the charts here? I got my boy Rob hanging out. This is the Magical Butter Podcast, live radio show, having a good time. We're feeling really boosted up today after that Memorial Day weekend that we just all experienced together. Good times. Magical Butter is busier than ever. We got a lot of cool things happening, a lot of exciting stuff in the pipeline there. I know that the team is all stoked out. We're heading up to Northern Cali to go to the Cannabis Cup and hang out with you guys out there. So if there's anybody listening or watching that's from NorCal, holler at me. Love to link up with you. Love to meet you in person, take some photos, kick it, maybe burn one. That's something that's super cool about the Cannabis Cup versus other trade shows. It's like, it's truly focused on so many aspects, not only, you know, cannabis, but the culture, the patients, the quality of the medicine, the lifestyle, and then also, you know, the social aspects of it, hanging out with one another, getting to bond with one another. It's really special.
Are you guys going to be broadcasting live on Twitch from the Cannabis Cup?
We do. We plan to. I had a little issue this past weekend. My cell phone broke, dude.
Oh, no. What do you got?
iPhone. But the camera stopped working. But, yeah, we're going to be actually teaming up with High Times. They have their own podcast. Check that out on the podcast network, High Times Podcast. And we'll be linking up with Jackie, the host of the podcast show there, the High Times show, and yeah, streaming some of that live for all you guys on Twitch. So, good times, good vibes. We got all kinds of stuff going on. Rob, what's new with you, man? It's summertime, bro. You gonna be hitting up the beach a little bit?
Nah, not from the one thing I learned in Florida. You don't go to the beach during the summer, right? Like you have to go during the winter because it's too hot, man, and then it just starts raining out of nowhere. Yesterday it started raining. It rained. I drove from one town to the other. It rained when I went from town A to town B. It was raining in town A. Got to town B. The clouds moved to town B, and it started raining in town B. I moved back to town A. The clouds followed me.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I felt like Charlie Brown.
Wazzy, wazzy, woo, woo.
Yeah, so no big plans, man. My kids in summer. You don't have any kids, so you got... Every day is kind of like summer for you.
Yeah, no kids, no dog. Holler at your boy.
I have both of those.
Man.
A dog and kids.
Dogs are cute. I love dogs. I wish I could have one, but I just don't have the time. Maybe one day.
They're expensive, man. I took my dog to the vet the other day. $675 just to get x-rays to find out what was wrong with it. I love my dog, right? I love her. But for like $125... they could put her down. Now, $675, I could be x-rays. I won't even know what's wrong with her. Then I could get a surgery on top of that.
Didn't you just get her?
She's a puppy.
You're already talking about putting down your
I'm
dog.
just saying, if she's that sick, she needs some kind of surgery. It's only $125 to put it down, but $600 to find out what's wrong with it. Am I the ones that are weird, or is the veterinary?
Well, you can't put a price on your precious little puppy.
I could,
there.
but it's about $300. But no, we ended up having the X-rays done.
What was wrong?
Nothing. That's the weirdest part, man. She just threw up a little bit. She threw up for like 2 days. She might have had a stomach bug. I was all worried that it would be what's called a blockage, which is where they can't get anything down or out. So every time they eat, it gets stuck, and they have no choice but to regurgitate it, which is what happens because dogs eat. You don't even think, man. Dogs eat everything that they smell. They go up, they start smelling something, they see if they can chew on it and swallow it. Well, eventually that builds up and causes a blockage. That's a serious, serious surgery. Luckily, x-rays, testing, came back, just might have a cold. I went, I'll take a cold.
Man, they got you, dog. You got hosed. I feel bad, when you're in that situation and you got your little precious puppy and they're suffering. It's hard to make a proper judgment call when you got a trained veterinarian saying, listen, your dog could die, bro. You got to get an x-ray. So, like, I don't blame you for doing it, but...
Don't ever take that first offer. Always negotiate medical bills. That's my point.
Should say, listen, I'm going to just feed him some CBDs, and we'll see if that helps.
I've had CBD water, and I got to be honest, have you ever tasted CBD water?
I have.
It's a little... It has like a... Bubba gets it, and he describes it as an earthy taste, but it does. It kind of has like a metallic taste to it, but it tastes really good, and it helps you sleep. My sleeping has increased and gotten so much better. I actually have restful night's sleep due to drinking CBD water. Check it out.
Yeah, CBDs are amazing, and you may not notice any direct difference. If you just pop one, you're not going to feel anything right away. But over time, as you start incorporating that into your life, it's going to help with your resting and relaxation and other times of your life. It really will help your body achieve homeostasis, and you'll just be leveled out in a state of bliss.
Can you explain what homeostasis is? Because I don't really know. I've heard the term a lot, but I'm not 100% sure what homeostasis is.
Right. So...
Because that's what they even say in the commercial when Bubba does the commercial for his water. He goes, it'll help get you to homeostasis. But I always get confused as to what homeostasis actually is.
So, like, your body is constantly fighting the environment that we're in.
Okay.
And so we have different things inside our body that help us. So, like, for instance, if you went outside and you got too hot, your body would trigger cues to cause you to sweat in an effort to cool you off,
down.
right? Or vice versa, if you went outside and it was freezing cold, your body would start to maybe shiver in an effort to warm you up, right? And so those are just a couple examples I can think of, but there's a whole complex array of systems within our body, including the endocannabinoid system, and your body endogenously produces cannabinoids in an effort to achieve homeostasis. And I guess the definition of homeostasis is the tendency toward a relatively stable equilibrium between interdependent elements, especially as maintained by physiological processes. So depending on your outside environment or what's affecting you or what you've put in your body, it's your body's best effort
to balance it out.
And so, you know, it can get pretty complex. I understand it when I read it and when I hear someone else talk about it, but it's sometimes hard to articulate. But it's amazing that some of the people who suffer different ailments or, you know, chemical imbalances in their brain or what they've called or identified as a endocannabinoid deficiency can utilize CBDs or even THC or cannabis in general, and their body will achieve that homeostasis or maintain a relaxed state much, much easier. So really exciting and interesting when you start to break down and get to the science of it all. Even if you're not a scientist yourself, I'm not a scientist, obviously, I'm just a man, but I'm out here trying to understand myself and understand you and others and all of us as one, you know, one consciousness here. Like, it's just amazing.
It is. Now I've learned what homeostasis means, and I had no idea before today. So thank you, Chris.
Hey, thank you, bud.
Can I teach you a term?
Yeah, what do you got?
Do you know what canna athletes are?
I would say an athlete that benefits from cannabis.
Yes. Actually, well, you know exactly what it is. It's someone who regularly supplements a workout with some form of marijuana because the benefits of the combination between, it says, marijuana can help improve focus and relaxation to help in recovery and pain management for weightlifters. So basically, it's people who go and lift weights while consuming either pre-workout or post-workout cannabis to aid in their workouts. And I don't know if you've ever, and don't take this the wrong way, you're not The Rock. I'm not The Rock. We don't have lats on top of lats. I mean, I take care of myself. Have you ever used cannabis and then went and did something? Did you ever go weightlifting? Did you ever go for some type of physical exercise and found that the cannabis helped increase your stamina? Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I live an athletic lifestyle as well, and I've heard this from other athletes time and time again. The one thing, you know, cannabis has many benefits and effects on your body, but the one thing that I've heard time and time again is that it helps motivate the athlete and push you past that perceived wall that you're facing in your mind. So whether it's trying to push that extra rep or go those extra few miles or cross over that bridge, it gets you into this flow state and a specific state of mind where you can get excited and push through some of those defeating thoughts and really conquer whatever achievement you're trying to get past.
There's a doctor who says that he says this isn't something where just a few people have experienced a phenomenon of having increased concentration, focus, and relaxation when it comes to recovery and pain management. This Dr. Peter Grinspoon, he is a primary care doctor at Massachusetts General Hospital. He says the fact that a lot of people are saying that marijuana helps them with their workouts can't be ignored. He does say it's a weird phenomenon, but it's an increasingly common phenomenon. It's a hard word to say. So more people are using and seeing benefits to indulging in cannabis either before or after a workout and seeing the effects that it has on their workouts.
Yeah, this weekend I was actually up in Canada, like I've mentioned, but got to meet an athlete, Ross Rabigladi.
Ross Rabigladi.
And you may remember his story. He actually was caught in the 1998. He tested for small amounts of marijuana in his blood at the 1998 Japanese Games. He's a professional snowboarder.
Okay, cool. I mean, that part's not cool, but the professional snowboarding part's cool.
Yeah, and he was speaking on the positive effects of cannabis when he's working out, and the fact that cannabis helps people with asthma, even in its smoked forms, which is probably contrary to what most people would believe. But it opens up and it dilates your lungs and makes you able to really breathe in and take in more oxygen. So
yeah, it says here that he won the gold medal. Okay, then he tested positive for having THC in his circulatory system. So they disqualified him and took his medal away. But because marijuana was not listed on the list of banned substances, they then gave him back his medal. So they took his medal away for no reason, gave it back to him. And you got to meet that guy?
Got to meet him, listen to him speak. Amazing guy. He's got a brand known as Ross Gold. He's got a full line of CBD products targeted for athletes and high-end vaporizers and products. So really cool. He's an Olympic hero, an athlete that's utilizing cannabis in a positive way. There's also several other athletes that we've had the pleasure of meeting. Jim McMahon, retired NFL player. Kyle Turley. We got Ricky Williams. You know, football players. This weekend also I met with an athlete who's a downhill mountain biker, and actually wasn't a user of cannabis before based on his athletic career, and acquired a rare illness and was actually led him to using cannabis to help treat some of those ailments. And since he's been able to use cannabis, it's actually improved some of his abilities as an athlete and as a bicycle rider. So, wow, pretty interesting.
I'm about 20 pounds over. The small, like the thinnest I've ever been was about 140 pounds as an adult.
Right.
And the best shape that I had ever been in my entire life was at that 140 pounds because I was using cannabis. I would ride my bike about 1.5 miles to 2 miles to the gym, and I would go and work out while still under the influence of cannabis. You could feel, like if I did a bicep curl, I could feel the muscles in my arm constricting or contracting and then releasing as I let the weights down. And when you're able to do that and feel each individual movement and you're focused into what each thing is doing and how you're working out I found that I was doing the same exercises that I had done sober, but I was getting much more, I had a much bigger benefit doing them under the influence because I could feel the growth. I could feel if I was using my shoulder too much and I should be using my chest, I would fix my body or fix my back or lower the weight so I was doing it the right way. And I got in much better shape over the 1.5 to 2 years that I did that than I am even today. I'll ride my bike today and I'm not feeling as much benefit as I did when I would be using cannabis as opposed to not. So
it does let you kind of look within and know yourself and feel your blood vessels and your, all your muscles and affect your breathing and all the different things that it does. And don't get us wrong, we're not out here trying to push the plant too hard. We're just trying to educate you guys. Cannabis isn't for everybody, but if done in the right set and setting and with the right ingestion form, it could be for you. And we're just trying to give you some confidence out there that there's people out there benefiting from it in multiple ways.
You do a lot of weightlifting, right, Chris?
Not as much as you, Dirty D.
About as much as we do.
When you're lifting up your girls, them heavyweights, dog.
He says 140 pounds. I'm like, Rob, you look like you're about 140 pounds.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Like,
I would like to get down a little bit lower.
Buck 60?
Yeah, about that.
Buck 55.
I like my ice cream. Super Scoops in Treasure Island. You get the best ice cream ever.
Shout out to Super Scoops.
Have you guys ever heard of the 420 games?
Yes, we took a part of the 420 games this past year in Santa Monica. Really cool experience. But yeah, they host a series of athletic events all centered around destigmatizing and promoting that athletes can use cannabis and still be successful.
Yeah, the owner, Jim, or the founder of the
Jim
420
McAlpine.
games.
What's up, Jim?
He's in this article. He talks about smoking or using cannabis and then weightlifting. It's a social movement. people on Instagram are starting to define themselves as cannabis athletes.
Yeah.
So that's a thing, man. That's awesome.
Definitely is. And I've heard for a long time, people who work out frequently, they swear by smoking cannabis first, and it really helps them push past that point when they can't go any further.
I can't think of anything else, like any type of substance that would cause like a similar type of effect. You know, in the workout game that's still safe and healthy. Like you wouldn't consume alcohol before you go work out. Like that's.
I've heard of guys doing that though, where they they swear by getting a buzz, getting a little drunk, and then working out. But I'm like, it's almost counterproductive because the alcohol is probably having some negative effect on your body, retardation of your muscles.
I've always felt using alcohol helps me lose focus of things that I don't want to be paying attention to, or running away from things, not focusing in on things that I want to work on better, like working out. That's why I feel like you wouldn't have that same effect from using alcohol and going and weightlifting as you would using cannabis.
No, definitely not. So that's great that this conversation is still going on and that people are taking it serious. We got professional athletes, Olympic heroes, I mean, pro athletes that are coming out. They're speaking about cannabis, able for them to stop taking any of the painkillers or the opiates or the mind-altering, you know.
The amount of athletes out there that use cannabis is huge. Like going to games like the 420 games, we get to see it, where there's like several jiu-jitsu fighters, which jiu-jitsu, if you've never seen it, is this crazy wrestling around, strategic movement, much like wrestling. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like they all use cannabis, and they all like could whoop any of us so quick.
Yeah.
so quickly.
I mean, that's another thing. There's like martial arts and fighting styles. And I guess maybe sometimes if you're going to be in a head-to-head match, you may not want to be on cannabis, but there's other times when...
Or would you?
Being focused on that level might be really... There's one guy that I heard of. He's a jiu-jitsu fighter. I don't know his name. World athlete, top competitor, swears by microdosing mushrooms before he gets in fights. And he gets into this specific state of mind that he believes he can actually, he doesn't read the person's mind, but he feels like he can read their mind and predict their movements.
Yeah.
And when you're fighting someone head to head, that's got to be like a pretty awesome advantage.
Would you say cannabis raises or lowers your pain tolerance?
Would raise your pain tolerance.
I guess it's raise. Because I'm thinking about, like, I don't know. I don't like being tickled or poked or nothing like that. And I feel like being high. Like,
I'm looking at you like I want to tickle you right now.
Well, look at it from another point of view. You're not being pestered, but you're working out.
You're in it. Like,
you're working out, right? You've used some cannabis. It's a natural.
You're using it to power through at that point.
It's an inflammatory. So when your muscles are becoming inflamed and sore and that pain is happening, the cannabis is going to inflame that area, allow that pain to be released, and maybe allow you to push those muscles a little further.
Yeah, because I can see it in the pushing further, but I could see, like, maybe getting stoned before wrestling wouldn't be the thing to do. Like, this could be a big baby in there. Like, guy's going to toss me around.
This article that we were talking about, it quotes Eric Wilson, a personal trainer and owner of Movement Sciences in Boston, who says that he envisions a time in the next 3 to 5 years where athletes will be able to pick which different type of cannabis oil or strains they want to enhance specific activities. So if you want to go fishing, you'll take an indica blend, he says, or if you want to go for a run, maybe take a sativa.
That's
like
one thing,
of
though.
A strain for fishing.
One thing I've been hearing a lot recently, and I think it's going to be coming out more publicly soon, but all that marketing hype about indica and sativa, not true.
Really?
Total bullshit.
It's all in your head.
Total bullshit.
Yeah.
So you think that different strains don't have a different effect on?
They do, but it's
not.
It's not
cut.
Read
about
sativa.
it.
It's not cut.
If you read about it beforehand, that's the effect you're gonna have.
Because it's weird. Every time I may or may not see a man about a horse, I always say I want sativa because I've always been told sativa helps you be more creative. Indica puts you in the couch.
And that's all marketing. It's not cut to
no,
dry.
it's marketing, but there's some kind of truth behind it. Like, I guess it's kind of whatever like I said, how you're looking at the plant in itself. If it's one that you think's going to make you sleepier, probably is going to make you a little sleepier. Like I've always thought that about cannabis is it kind of does what you think it's going to do.
It's mind over matter kind of when it comes to that.
Yeah, cannabis is like a super mental. It's psychoactive. It's a super mentally type of usage. But yeah, I think that that THC can kind of affect you in multiple ways.
That's good to know.
Yeah. And then indicas, like I don't know. I swear I've had indicas that really do lock you out though. But you knowing it's an indica, you using an indica. Recently, I had an indica that turns out was a hybrid sativa dominant, which this is a strain that I've sworn for years just knocks me out. Like, like it's a hitter. It's like I sleep when I'm done with that one. But it turns out after I read that it's a sativa dominant hybrid, I'm like, oh, maybe I was wrong. Maybe it doesn't make me sleep when I use it.
I have used. Does it matter when it comes to indica versus sativa when you cook?
Yeah, I'd say it has to, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm taking that as fact, by the way. You said it has to.
It has to.
Yeah.
As I
shrug my
shoulders.
Listen to this, guys. This is some interesting insight from scientist Ethan Russo. He's well known. He's got plenty of books out there on the topic. But basically, he says the differences between indica and sativa plants are physical. Indicas are short and squat and supposedly come from the mountains of Pakistan. Sativas are tall and thin, supposedly come from the tropics. But according to Ethan Russo, a board-certified neurologist and one of the country's leading cannabis researchers, these outward physical attributes have no power in predicting what kind of high you will get. All right, so you cannot tell the effects of a plant based on its shape, the shape of its leaflets, the size, how tall it is.
Because that is one of the difference. Like if you've seen an indica plant, it's got big, wide, fat leaves.
So it's more complicated than just indica or sativa. What we really should be homing in on is the chemical composition of the plant. All right, so how much CBD is in it, how much THC, how much other of the cannabinoids, what terpenes are in it. Those are all the details that are most important. And there are some, sativas and some indicas that share certain qualities, but it's not as cut and dry as just like, yep, sativa makes you feel up and energetic, indica makes you feel down and sluggish, So just a little insight there.
It's all kind of the effect, the placebo effect. Like when you're smoking a sativa in the morning, you feel a little bit more awake. I feel like smoking anything in the morning helps me feel more awake, but smoking a sativa, it's like, it's a sativa I'm hitting. It's gonna I'm gonna get so much done today. I smoked a sativa.
I usually do though when I think that. So it is kind of mind over matter because then I get things done thinking, hey, I'm gonna get things done.
Hey, I'm gonna go get things done.
So
which is a good momentum.
Here's some good insight and a little bit of hope for the future. As we move forward, there will be no such thing as sativa or indica. It's going to be about education and teaching people to go for the effect rather than to go for the term sativa or indica. It's going to be stubbornly difficult to move past the indica-sativa paradigm. Arbitrary distinctions are tough to shed, especially when the alternative is complicated and not well understood. It's a messy alternative based on real science, but that's much superior than a distinction made up by ill-informed people trying to sell cannabis during Prohibition. So that's sort of where the origin of the sativa indica myth kind of came from.
Yeah, when somebody says, oh, I like to smoke, but I don't like how tired it makes me feel.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then you need an indica, my good sir.
It's an easy, it's way easier.
So instead you should be more
a sativa.
Instead you should go, what is the chemical composition of the plant that I'm smoking?
Right, yeah, and you're looking for what are the cannabinoid values on the THC and the CBD, what terpenes are involved.
And really your prior feelings on it, like, yes, I've had that flower several times, and when I've used that flower, it's made me do X. Like, so that flower achieves X, you know that flower will get you whatever you're going after, you know.
Well, I have to leave.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Mr.
4 o'clock.
Roberto.
I have to go pick my kid up at camp. Thank you for having me on the
Rob.
Magical Butter Radio Show. I'm gonna go edit this and put it together for your podcast.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, thank you, fellas. Good luck.
Thank you, Rob.
California this weekend.
All right.
So,
luckily,
I'm so glad that coffee was empty,
me
man.
too, because I got so many things I'm trying to juggle.
Make
Bye,
it-
everybody at home.
Give me a heart
bud.
attack.
Thanks, Magical Butter. I love you guys.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Rob.
Rob. Eat's a treat, man.
Shout out to Rob Gargiulo.
Rolling through the
How do you
streets.
pronounce it?
Gargiulo.
Gargiulo. I was really close there.
Give it up. Give it
You can
up.
check him out on the Bubba the Love Sponge show every weekday, Monday through Friday. He slays it.
Slay.
Slay.
DJ Slay.
Mr. Rob the Slayer.
DJ Slay.
Everybody's saying, bye, Rob.
Bye, guys.
And that's Rob with 2 B's. If you're looking for Rob's comedy act, look up The Rob Show with 2 B's. R-O-B-B, The Rob Show.
Nice one.
Thanks, Rob.
All right, cool. That's good times and sunshine. Got my boy Dirty D
What
back
up,
in the
dog?
hot seat.
How you doing,
How you
man?
doing, fam?
We back. Good, man. Good.
We back. We back.
Yeah. I just wanted to go see what it looked like behind the scenes earlier.
How you feeling?
Go take a peek. I feel great, man. It's a happy day. We got Chef Leather jetting
He's,
down here in the limo
He's
right
en
now.
route. He should be here probably in the next 15, 20 minutes.
Then he's going on the radio show.
We might pull him on here if he shows up in time.
So if Chef Leather shows up and he's getting dropped onto a radio show.
Jordan,
that's
you
always,
keep an eye out
always fun.
for a guest when he's coming through. I'm gonna hop on the Snapchat specs and get a quick shot of my boy
Snapchat
Shats
specs behind the scene.
filming you back. Oh, you're on camera. Snapsburg.
How
out
do
here.
you just put them on and it starts going?
You push
oh,
the
you
little
got a button. Okay,
Yeah,
I didn't see you
I got a
activate the
button.
thing.
I'm a secret agent. My boy Alex just hopped behind the pole so he didn't get caught
Alex
on the
is
screen.
secret agenting out too.
He knows
That's
what's
dope.
up. So a lot of exciting stuff happening.
Usually we have a screen of ourselves. When we're here sitting, we have like a view and it shows us on the screen. We don't have that today.
I know I've been kind of connecting
yeah.
through the metaverse.
Austin ran off with our screen this morning.
We had a
He
meeting.
just took it and yanked it.
A meeting of the minds there. So
On the new couch. Do you like how the new couch is like turned into that?
I love it.
Oh man.
I love it. It's a good spot for creativity and collaboration.
It felt super homey.
Oh
Like
boy.
it took the boardroom and it put it on a couch. Like it was
People are saying that
different feeling.
Dirty D reminds them of Darren from what's it called, The Walking Dead.
Oh, Daryl from The Walking Dead? Yeah, that'll work.
Daryl.
Daryl?
I'll call you Daryl sometimes. Catherine Dinwiddie says, I do not use, however, I do believe in the use of plants instead of chemical use. It's 100% better for the whole world as a whole. Thank you, Catherine. We appreciate your support.
Cannabis is also a great carbon negative, which carbon negative is pulling carbon out of the atmospheric carbon from burning things, burning fuels, all that. Cannabis grows so fast, so tall, that it helps reset that a lot. And then when we're turning the hemp fibers into usable materials like building materials and things like that, we've really got a good carbon negative going on where, as in a pine forest takes years and years and years of growing to achieve, a cannabis forest you could grow in the next 6 months.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Look at that little extra insight from our boy Dirty
Boom.
D.
Yeah, carbon negative. It's good to do our best for the environment. We were talking about it earlier. We had some coffees earlier, and I like my coffee with a little bit of Bailey's in it. That's how I prefer to drink my coffee, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of Bailey's, and some coffee, and 4 or 5 of them.
I drink mine black. If I were to put anything in it, it would be a small scoop of some infused coconut oil, little boost to some healthy fats.
I tell you what, Chef Brandon Allen.
Yeah.
He does a thing called fat coffee.
Yeah, bulletproof coffee, fat coffee.
And it was one of the mornings, I was having a rough morning, I'm like, let's see what he got. And he's swearing by his bulletproof fat coffee, is what he's calling it, the fat coffee.
Right.
Adam, do me one up, and man, it was delicious. And I want to say it gave me a good boost of energy. Those animal fats and things like that can really set you off.
No, it's great. I mean, a lot of
Send you in the right
athletes
direction.
swear by having a cup of bulletproof coffee in the morning before a workout. Really get a high, healthy blend of fats there and boost you up. Yeah, so we were talking about saving the environment, and we got the coffee machine. We were using these Keurig pods. I don't know if you guys have
We've
seen
got a
them.
Keurig, which is like the single use. It's almost like your little cannabis vape pods.
And you throw them away.
You put it into a coffee
And
maker.
I mean, you have one of those a day, and it stacks up. It's like we
You gotta
started
think
getting
if
these.
everybody's using a few cups of coffee a day, and then we're filling the machine up with water bottles, and then we're just throwing these plastic cups away, and then we're using a plastic stirrer. We're really using too much plastic, and as people on this earth, we need to be aware of our plastic use. Like when you're sucking down a pack of water bottles every day, you could have done that in gallon jugs and poured it into a cup, and you could have saved, you know, water bottles that are going to sit in a field forever.
Yeah,
you know, like that plastic,
a landfill.
Unless they're really properly recycled, which even recycling is like a little up in the air from time to time. Like, you want to reduce your plastic use. So
you know what they did up in Canada that I noticed? They had fill stations everywhere, and everybody carries these refillable water bottles around, and they refill them throughout the day. And there is no drinking plastic water bottles and throwing them away. Like, that's such an old concept.
Yeah, at some point
we need to get away from that.
Water bottle thing, because like as kids it wasn't that way.
It's
I don't
not
feel
viable.
like the water bottles happened in the last 20 to 15 years.
I envision a day where there's going to be reusable containers. I know they do that in some of the third world countries, and kudos to them. I think they're ahead of their time. But like, for instance, something you're using frequently. Like I saw this for the first time in Asia. They would bring reusable soy sauce bottles to the market. They get their soy sauce refilled up and bring it back home for the week or the month, and then keep reusing that same bottle.
That same bottle you can fill with any different sauce, any different thing. I like us being here in Florida and in the South and stuff. I love mason jars. Like there's so many times I've like left work here with a mason jar of a different sauce or something like that, or you buy mason jars, you buy a whole pack of them, store your food in it, and then it's reusable forever. I've got a whole collection of cups that are mason jars. Just
Bro,
you can drink water.
Speaking of mason jars, I got a great recipe idea that we're gonna have to do. You can bake little cakes in mason jars, right?
Okay.
And so I had a carrot cake up in Canada, and it came in a mason jar, and they bake it in the mason jar, and then they top it with some cream cheese icing, and it comes with a lid, and you eat as much as you can, and then you put the lid on, and you take the cake home with you in a little jar. But great concept. We're gonna be doing some of those mason jar desserts very soon, I think.
Yeah, shout out there. Somebody talking about their reusable straws. With a reusable straw,
gross.
You got to be careful to clean it.
Bacteria.
That's it. You just got to clean it properly.
Yeah.
You clean it like you would any of your pipes or anything. You take a paper towel, you run it through it, and you get all the nasty stuff out.
We're gonna invent some edible straw that'll be like a gummy tube infused. You use it once with your drink, eat it, and then you got a whole roll of this tubular straw fruit
It sounds like a Sour Punch straw, which is one of my absolutely favorite candies. For those of you watching out there.
With the sugar salts?
The sugar salts, the blue raspberry. Yeah, that little bit of citric acid on the outside of them. And they make the thick ones. I've seen them at 7-Eleven stuff that you buy to suck your Slurpee through. Oh. So it's pretty much a gummy straw. Like it's nothing but sugar and nastiness, but dang is it delicious.
It is good.
Oh man.
It is
Blue
good.
dye is just so tasty.
You like brown dye, don't you?
Oh yeah. I dye all my underwear brown.
Dawn's like, all my food is brown.
Yeah. Everything is brown.
So, cool. We're hanging out right now live. This is the Magical Butter radio show. Another exciting afternoon. You're hanging out with your boy, Chris Widener. I got my friend here, Dirty Dalton Brown.
Dirty D. Coming to y'all live.
You got a lot of stuff
here in the Magical Butter radio
pumping
show.
out the pipeline. I mean, you've been creating content like a madman.
Oh, it's so much, man. Hopefully y'all have been watching like some of the fun videos coming out. Like if you saw Gator Bites with Chef Renee, that was a fun one we put out recently. All kinds of cool stuff. We just keep it moving.
Keep it moving.
A whole new line of marketing videos have hit. I don't know if y'all have been to our Amazon yet, but we sell all of our products officially now through our Amazon, and each one of those has a video tied to it. So when you're wondering what Dalton's doing when he's not sitting here yakking, I'm behind the scenes working really hard with the help of Schatzberg. I got to give it away to Schatz the man. He's a great editor and a great video producer in general.
Great teammate as well.
Great teammate to have around.
I mean, if you're looking for someone to lift something heavy, he's there. He's got your back. He'll pick you up when you're down.
If you're looking for somebody to make fun of something, he'll make fun of something.
He'll turn that frown upside down.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so we love our team here. We love you guys, too, for tuning in. We really appreciate all the support from our Twitch viewers, hitting us with the bits and the love and the new subscribers.
Yeah, I saw our boy JJ Charger dropped 1,000 bits on us earlier, and then Jopfo, Critters Cove, and everybody else been dropping bits all day. Like, much love. Waspbread, we see Waspbread dropping bits. He's in there all the time doing that. So.
Killer.
Yeah. Shout out to all the Twitch fans.
Wade Durbin, my man, up there hanging out.
We have a special thing happening on Twitch in like less than an hour.
What is it?
Dinghy.
Ding, 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 dingy.
Dingy's playing live from a dinghy out on the ocean.
What? We got him floating around the sea.
Very soon, Dinghy will be in a dinghy.
In a dinghy. Little boat.
But Dinghy is coming to you live after this from his crib. He's there playing some Fortnite. You'll be able to check that out. He's awesome. He's a great Fortnite player. He's got his squad, and it's gonna be dope.
Bro, he's gonna give us some tips, show us how easy it is to get a win, and it's not easy. So that's a joke on my part.
It's not easy.
He's gonna show you some skills, some tips, tricks. He's quick with the sticks. He's down for the get down, building a house out of wood.
He's trying to make some bits.
All that, dabbing Dinghy. He's my man. If he can't do it, Ninja can.
Ninja can. Yeah, watch out for Ninja out there, Dinghy.
He's the ultimate.
Yeah. What a showdown that would be.
Yeah, mad respect. So like, it's funny when you're in the presence of a real Fortnite player, because when you mention the name Ninja, there's like a lot of honor and respect there.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, like you don't talk down on Ninja because he is the supreme Fortnite player on the net there.
What if Dinghy just happened to be playing, and next thing you know, it's like
I hope they
the
get,
final two. It's dabbing Dinghy versus old Ninja. Ooh.
I hope they get linked up on a team together. Little squad action.
Yeah, that's fun. So Fortnite tonight, and then coming up, we've got our friend Amanda Boombala. If you've been watching our program long enough, you've seen Amanda. She's going to be picking up a nighttime show where she paints.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so she's going to be painting from her crib, Thursday nights, Wednesday nights, one of those nights.
Interesting.
Still working on the schedule there.
Interesting. I'm interested to see that.
But we're bringing you Twitch content all the time.
We love live art.
If you haven't seen our Twitch page, it's twitch.tv/MagicalButterTV, and that's how you see all these exclusive broadcasts that we're doing just to Twitch, such as that Dinghy broadcast that we're bringing to you after this show is going to be a Twitch exclusive. So the only place to see that is on twitch.tv/MagicalButterTV.
Perfect, man. Yeah, this is awesome. Stoked about that. We got Leather Stores in the house this week. He's coming in hot.
Coming in hot. He'll be here any minute now.
We got
to bring him on and bombard him about what he's doing tomorrow.
Little interview.
Yeah.
I've been chomping at the bit trying to get him to send a recipe over, and he's got it top secret.
He's like, I got the recipes right here.
It's all in the vault there, so we're not gonna leak any of the secrets out.
Okay.
You guys will have to tune in tomorrow to get exclusive coverage of that. We'll also be streaming live from the High Times Cannabis Cup this coming weekend up in NorCal.
You're flying out, what, Thursday? Thursday or Friday, one of them days.
Probably gonna look like a Friday morning deal.
Yeah.
I'd love to leave earlier, but probably Friday's gonna look like the day to go out.
Nice.
The event is Saturday and Sunday. We're stoked out. I got all my homies texting me, it's Taco Tuesday. I'm probably not gonna be making it to the taco deal tonight.
Like, what do you mean to the taco deal?
Well, my boys like to get together, meet up at a bar locally.
Nice.
Get some tacos and beers.
Well, that's cool.
But
that's a nice deal.
You like tacos?
Yeah. Do I like tacos?
You make a pretty mean taco
I make mean tacos.
Deer meat in it, right?
Yeah, deer meat, buffalo. I've made tacos out of every animal. Haven't made lamb tacos yet. Let's put that on the list.
One thing I had up in Canada that was pretty delicious was a crepe.
And crepe.
And it reminded me a lot of it was like a French quesadilla, and had ham and cheese in it.
Okay, I was gonna say, did you get savory stuff in it? Because that's where it starts tasting that way. Because you can get a sweet crepe with like Nutella, strawberries, strawberry jam, that kind of thing, or a savory crepe, like you're saying. So it had egg and cheese and
bacon and ham. It was a breakfast deal, but reminded me a lot of like a French quesadilla. It's pretty good.
We don't have too many savory crepes down here. That's not a big thing around here. It's
crepes
very
aren't
rare
really a
you
big
run
thing
into.
in general, are they, down here?
I really like IHOP's crepes. Like when I'm going to IHOP, like getting the Nutella crepes with the strawberry, that's pretty fire, But that's only from IHOP. Like I ain't going to Waffle House trying to order crepes. That's for sure.
IHOP just crepes me out.
It crepes me out, man. How can it be IHOP and the International House of Pancakes? Pick one, would you?
Hey, shout out to Big Baby Scumbag. He shoots his music video in Waffle House, actually.
Shout out to Waffle House in general for being there 24 hours a day. Whenever you need them, they're there for you.
Quick access, straight off the interstate. Pull over, get yourself a stack of some unhealthy breakfast. Did you remember that
Get him
news story?
smothered covered.
There was a dude, he went into a Waffle House, there was no customers, and the cook was sleeping in one of the booths. So the customer went behind the kitchen there, because it's right there, it's an open kitchen, you know, a little diner. He made his own breakfast, everything, ate the meal, left the money for the food so he didn't steal it, and documented the whole experience on social media.
He like took snaps the entire time.
Yeah. It was pretty hilarious, you know, and I'm sure Waffle House had to make a public statement about that.
I'm sure they did. Or somebody called somebody and was like, hey, why was that guy sleeping? And then they're like, it's Waffle House. And they're like, yeah, thank God for the publicity.
You know who's been savage lately on the social media is Wendy's.
Really?
Yeah, bro. Like, shout out to them because I see some funny stuff pop up online where, like, all these restaurants have their own social media, right? And so, like, Chick-fil-A, for instance, put this post out. They're like, oh, nothing like enjoying a nice chicken sandwich on a Friday afternoon. So Wendy's tweets back, yeah, like enjoying one of ours on a nice Sunday afternoon. Because, like...
Oh, because Chick-fil-A's closed on Sunday. Oh, that was a burn.
So,
oh, man.
It's funny, man.
See, I would have come back with something about their square patties. Been like, yeah, if you like square patties or something. Like, that's always gotten me about Wendy's.
Yeah, that's a weird shape, isn't it?
The fresh, never frozen. Like, I feel like I've given this argument before, but, like, I feel like frozen brings you safety.
No.
Safety and frozen.
That's a bad misconception.
Yeah, like, take that meat and freeze it.
Nope.
Don't leave it on the back of the horse for too long.
No, you don't. Yeah, but, like, there's... Never mind. Dalton, can't explain nothing to you, bud.
Fresh, never frozen. But, like, I don't know, you throw something in the freezer and you take it out of the freezer, and as long as you don't heat it up with the microwave, it's just fine.
I'm sure freezing food does compromise some of its, you know, nutritional value, right? Let's see.
Without doing any research, yeah, let's find out about what freezing food does to the food. I feel like it doesn't do anything. It's just freezing it. Whatever it is less than what a microwave does. Whatever it is.
All right.
No microwaves, 2018. Calling it out here. We don't use a microwave in the studio. We do have one in here. Somebody needed one for 420, so that is why there's a microwave back in this closet over here that nobody's ever gonna use. So shout out to throwing away your microwaves. Forget your microwaves. Use a decarb box. Who needs a microwave when they have a decarb box? You can heat up spaghetti in there just fine. You can heat up any type of pasta, heat up any type of food for real, like without drying it out. So what do we got? Freezing your food?
Bad.
Bad?
Yeah, they lose flavor, they lose color. There's all these different negative attributes. It's not all frozen food is bad, but it's not good. I'm gonna try to avoid frozen food if I can.
Yeah, Washbread says it restructures the molecules much as a microwave does.
Nice one, Washbread. Thank you.
But it would stain bad in the decarb box. I gotta disagree. I've cooked all kinds of different things in the decarb box, and my decarb box still comes out green. That nonstick silicone, it really doesn't soak in there. If you get a little bit of red coloring from your spaghetti sauces, because we know how those ragouts do, you know, a little bit of red never hurt nobody.
Oh, you're talking about cooking food in the decarb box?
Yeah. Somebody was asking if it would stain. Now, I'm trying to think of my decarb boxes. My decarb boxes aren't stained from anything, and I've cooked all kinds of things in the decarb boxes.
Oh, no, yeah, we cook pasta, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
it's a non-stick surface. Cleans really quick and easy. No staining involved there.
Yeah, I like that. Like, you can cook to the decarb box, and it just stays steamed in there, so it doesn't stick to the box. Like, cleaning it, you just get in there with your scrubber, and you do it around.
Yeah, Broken Gaming, you don't want to leave meat at room temperature for too long of time. They all have serve safe standards and temperatures that you want to handle your meat properly. Refrigerating is important. Getting fresh meat is crucial. Freezing meat is okay. We're just trying to advocate towards fresh, never frozen food over here. Like,
in your history, when it comes to cooking, do you cook frozen? Do you cook from frozen? Like, I've always heard that you let your meats become room temperature before you cook them.
Right, I do. I'm not comfortable with throwing a frozen piece of meat into a hot surface.
Not frozen, even cold. I like to, even a steak out of the fridge or something like that, I like leave sitting on the counter for a period of time before it goes in.
I think that's
probably about 30 minutes. I see somebody saying 30 minutes. It's probably about 30 minutes that you pull it out and let it rest for. I've had meat out of the fridge for way longer than 30 minutes.
There's probably a specific amount of time that's too long too, though, right?
There absolutely is.
So you want to be mindful.
Well, we've worked in kitchens. It's that 60 degrees for less or more than is kind of one of your rules for whether you have to refreeze the meat or reheat the meat or whatever. You have to take it up to 160 if it's been below or above 60 for a period of time. All kinds of rules when it comes to food. What you want to do with your food is be smart about it. Be safe about it. Like, smell it. That's one of the things. Like, it was last Friday, I think. I was going to make some sausage biscuits for everybody around the office. Like, I knew there was a pack of sausage back in the fridge, and it was starting to cut it close on date. I opened it up, and it smelled bad.
Oh yeah, you can't.
So it was having to call it quits. Like, it may have been within the date, it may have been kept properly, but it didn't smell quite right. So we said we're not going to get the whole team sick today.
What are some ways that someone would know that food is fresh if they lost their sense of smell? They had no sense of smell, or maybe they're colorblind and they can't see if a food is changing color, or what are some ways?
Well, that's what that was going to be my second. Was the look of it, because something didn't quite look right about it. It was red the way raw meat's supposed to be, but it had a brown spottiness and kind of a color difference in it. Now, being colorblind, you might be able to see the change in the color. You can tell between darker and lighter, that type of thing. If you have a meat that's spotty, going from like one color to another color, that's probably not the greatest route to go.
I think maybe the only way for someone to know whether their food was still fresh or not would be just through labeling it and identifying when it was purchased, or knowing when it should go bad, kind of thing.
Even then, it can still sneak up on you.
It can.
Like, occasionally, like, grocery stores make mistakes and things like that. Mistakes happen where
you can even buy something that says it's still fresh, and you get it home and it's already spoiled, right?
Something to look for when you're at the grocery store is you'll see some packages of meat that like almost look swollen a little bit, like the air is built up in there and it looks like there's air pressure behind it. That's a no-go.
Yeah.
You want to avoid those, and I didn't know that. It was somebody that taught me that, actually. Like, I would have never thought anything of it, but meat that's building up that extra air, that's bacteria and stuff, releasing gases and things. So.
Another thing you want to look out for in the grocery stores is a lot of times they'll offer you pre-prepared meals, like maybe chopped up steak or chicken with peppers and onions already seasoned and spiced. Oftentimes, that's the stuff that was set to go bad. And they chop it up and make it look pretty so it's easier to sell it.
Because the red meat, even I see somebody referring to the red meat, like that's some type of coloring. Like in most grocery stores that we enter, that red coloring is a coloring that's
for
put
attractiveness.
Because it's ingrained in our head.
Shout out to Wade Durbin. He is a colorblind gentleman. He actually brought this fact to my attention, so I appreciate you letting me know that. Also, it looks like
The Rock says he's colorblind as well.
The Rock is colorblind, but he has a good sense of smell, so that's one way that he can identify if the food's healthy. But
so I guess you want to use multiple senses on it. Like if it doesn't look right and it doesn't smell right, but that's 2 strikes against it. That means you probably shouldn't enter that dumb style.
Yeah.
But Jopfo says they're not allowed to put meat dye here in Canada.
Oh,
so
good.
I bet if you would have gone to the grocery store and looked at the meat across the board there in Canada, I bet it has a slightly different color and texture to it.
Yeah,
than
and I did notice on the menu at one of the restaurants is 100% Canadian beef is what they were advertising. I was excited to try it. I had a nice tenderloin. It was delicious, really good.
I gotta tell you, I had an aged New York strip from Whole Foods. Shout out Whole Foods the other day. So good. It was amazing. Like,
did you cook it yourself?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So when you cook it yourself, you cook it perfectly. And my key to a steak: high heat, minute 30 seconds on each side. Like, you throw it in there with your butter, your garlic, like a couple fresh herbs.
Pan frying it, or you grilling it?
I'm pan frying it.
You're in apartment life, right?
It's apartment life. Yeah, I'd be grilling it if I had more of a back porch. But you can pan fry steak just as well. Oh my goodness, it was so good. I went in looking for a New Zealand filet, because a New Zealand filet is nice and minerally. You can really taste like the animal in that one. I saw those aged New York strips. That's what I went with. They were like $20 a pound, but man, it was delicious. Wow. Yeah. So shout out Whole Foods. Their meat's solid. I like getting meat from there. Their pork is really good too. Like I love shake and bake pork chops. Just huge fan. It like hits me right in like me being a child. So yeah, Whole Foods has the most beautiful little thick cut boneless pork chops as well. Gotta love it.
I heard Whole Foods just came out. They're gonna start offering hemp-based food and CBD infused products at Whole Foods.
They sell hemp seed.
Hemp seed is already sold.
It's already there.
They're gonna open up to CBD products, CBD-based products for food, body care, and other uses. So that's pretty exciting stuff, right?
That is pretty exciting.
It's going mainstream, man.
It is going mainstream.
And Whole Foods is a store that people seem to trust when they're looking for healthier alternatives to you know, whether it's hygiene products, deodorants, and things of that.
You've been, right?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, it's got a certain smell and vibe to it.
It's clean.
Like a grocery store has a vibe.
It's friendly.
Other than being a grocery store.
Yeah, like some of the older...
Like a Winn-Dixie.
Lame.
You go into a Winn-Dixie, it feels like you're in a grocery store from 1986.
It's bad.
Like you're in there, you're like, oh man, should I just bought McDonald's that's out in the parking lot? Like, but when you're at Whole Foods, you feel like you're doing something good for yourself. So eat at Whole Foods, eat healthy in general, no matter where you're getting your food from.
Strive to grow your own.
Yourself, like.
Mend your own garden, create a garden and grow all your most favorite foods and teach your friends nearby, your neighbors and your other family members to help. And
it's springtime coming on summertime. Like
create
now
your
is the
own
time.
food.
If you're putting your herbs in the ground. I know my parents just started a fresh herb garden. Dad made Mom like a nice herb garden for Mother's Day.
You know what's something we need to start
growing? And they've got
growing?
other things in the dirt.
Let's get your mom to grow us some sage.
Some sage, she's got it growing.
Cool. So if we get enough sage,
we can burn some.
Well, we can burn it and keep all the bad juju out.
Yeah. Chase off some of these.
Or we can combine it into a tincture.
Okay.
And when you get enough sage and make a tincture of it, you have similar effects to that of absinthe.
Really?
So we can make an absinthe from sage if you'd like.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
I would like to try sage absinthe. I've heard if you eat too much nutmeg, too, that can send you on a wild thing for a few days.
Really?
Yeah.
Too much nutmeg?
Too much nutmeg. You ain't never heard of that? Oh, it's not supposed to be great. But it sends you for a couple day trip where you're not supposed to be functional for a couple days. Don't know if I've experienced. Don't do any of these things I'm talking about. Do not do. Yes, you can OD like Schatzberg says. Like as you can on anything. Don't eat too much steak. You can OD on it. So.
No, on nutmeg. I mean.
On nutmeg, yes.
People OD to eating the whole thing of nutmeg.
Yeah. You got to be careful with the whole nutmeg gimmick. That's just information I'm aware of out there. Doesn't mean you should do it or that it's safe or that I'm condoning it. But
Okay, so sage contains thujone, and it's a chemical that's also found in wormwood and sage.
Which wormwood is what they make. That's what absinthe, true absinthe, is supposed to be derived of wormwood.
And they say that the effect of smoking thujone is very similar to the effects of smoking THC.
Wow.
And you can create an absinthe alternative from utilizing sage. So
have you ever had absinthe?
Not the real stuff from Europe.
I can't say I've ever had the true real stuff.
They make like an American version that's like this thick green liqueur.
Yeah, it's licorice flavored.
It's like
green liquor.
Yeah, like a peppermint schnapps or some shit.
I want to say one of the times somebody was claiming that it was true absinthe or something like that, but I don't remember any true effects from it, like what they claim absinthe is, such as like the absinthe show out in Vegas that really makes a big deal of it and all that. Like it's supposed to be like a hallucinogenic experience.
Oh, there's like a whole show named Absinthe, right?
Named Absinthe, yeah, at Caesar's Palace.
It's not at Aria?
I want to say Caesar's Palace for the Absinthe show.
Let's see.
Wagering 700. Thank you, Alex. Dun, da, da, da. No, it's at Caesar's Palace. I remember walking through there a few times.
Nice. Yeah, cool. So Vegas has some great shows. I'm gonna be going to Vegas this summer.
Are you?
Yeah.
Can we go? Can we all go when you go, or are you going alone?
I'm doing a personal trip this time.
Oh man!
I'm gonna go meet some of my homies out there, and we're gonna.
That's one of the places to go if you're gonna go, like Vegas.
We're gonna go hit up Fremont Street on some magical tips. So cool, man. It's almost 4:20 here. 4:28. It already passed.
Chef Leather's on his way. The limo's bringing him in hot. We're here hanging out with you, holding it down till Dingy comes and takes over and slays on Fortnite.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to probably
not on old Dinger, or probably.
I don't think chefs can make the show.
Okay, yeah. Chef might not make the show. Yeah, no, I'm totally aware.
But
of
we
that.
will be. We'll be live tomorrow. We're gonna have Chef Leather in the kitchen. What time do we start tomorrow? 2 o'clock?
Tomorrow we're live at 2, up and live and running at 2 for the Magical Butter Show. That classic cooking in the kitchen, seeing what awesome stuff the chef has to make for you. Like, it's the big one.
Oh, it's gonna be great. Full of excitement, a lot of entertainment. Make sure you guys tune in this afternoon. We're gonna have our boy Dingy showing you guys some fun tips on the Fortnite game exclusively on Twitch. Shout out to everybody who's watching on Facebook, on Twitch, on YouTube, on the Magical Butter website. Thank you guys. Make sure you go subscribe to our podcast on the iTunes network. I'm going to sign off here from MagicalButter.com. Much love from your boy Chris Whitener.
I'm your boy Dirty D, signing off here. Make sure to check out Dingy in 30 minutes there. Set your notifications up. You'll see him go live, and you can check out some sweet Fortnite action.
Heck yeah. Thank you guys so much.
And we'll see you tomorrow.